It's amazing.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it actually is amazing.
Oh,
I
yo,
hate you, James.
and
Sheesh.
Yo,
or is it this? Is this?
bro. Okay, quick side note before we start.
Yeah.
I was out getting pizza today with some friends of mine after work, and the guys were watching the game behind us, and I don't know if it was a home run or whatever, and Buddy was like, "Sheesh," and I kid you, the whole restaurant.
That's so cringy.
We all did it
That's,
though.
that's so cringy.
But the unison was so clean.
Like,
It was
but the
like a
thing is,
moment.
the thing is that I feel myself like doing it with everyone, and I'm like, why did I just do that? Why did I do that? It makes
It
no
was a good
sense.
time.
I've
though,
literally
man.
never seen that before ever. What is that? A
I mean,
TikTok thing?
Yeah.
It's just
Yes.
ice in your veins. It's actually
Wow.
an NBA thing.
I'm so.
It's an
mad I
NBA
fucking-
thing. Yeah, it's an NBA thing.
It's an
Actually.
NBA
okay.
thing.
Okay, okay.
It just became a TikTok.
Damn, I'm, like
Got
when you just said that, and I said yeah. There's so many people that I was like, yo, no, it's not. He don't really know where it's from. Good. Thank you, James, with the correction.
I got you.
I appreciate that. But
The culture.
what's good, everybody? Welcome to Should I Play That, your weekly podcast about video games and the culture and industry, or the industry and culture. See, I'm gonna get this like straight through one day, and it's just gonna happen. Industry and culture surrounding them. This is episode 109, and I'm one of the hosts, Chris, aka SSJ Blackrod, aka Mr. Muckluck, aka the Great One. And it feels good to be back for another week, y'all. What's good? We
What's good, Chris?
Yo, it feels like we were just on for like 3 hours with Herb. So I'm still like, you know, but it's always a good time when we're here with Herb. So shout out to Game Master Herb, Three Bears Gaming on Twitch. Check them out.
Don't forget
But
the why.
don't forget the Y. And yo, it's another week. But James, what's good, man?
Yo, I'm feeling like sheesh today, man. I don't even know why. I'm just feeling good. It's been a nice day, it's a nice week, I should say. Played a couple good video games. The NBA playoffs are on.
Yes.
Go Hawks. I'm just putting it out there. We're probably not gonna win, but hey,
I mean,
we're not gonna stop trying.
I was gonna say, but you're gonna make it farther than the Knicks. Now, granted, congrats Knicks for making the playoffs. Like, when was the last time we were here? But yeah, Knicks are being Knicks right now.
Yeah, bro. Amen.
Good old
what was his name?
Knicker. Was it Knicker Bottoms? Is that what the
I don't
whole-
like that.
That's the full
What's
term.
that?
You're not
Knicker
censoring
Knickerbockers.
yourself.
Oh,
We're gonna
man.
cut that one out. Like Mikey
That's-
Ice used to
that's
say,
what-
"Fuck the Knicks." Oh, not really though. Shout out to New York. I want to go visit one day. It'll be fun. But
This is-
besides that, man, I'm good.
That's good. That's good. Yo, Rod.
I just want to say that we're all black here.
Except for one.
Yeah, except for one person right now.
Well, you got 2 out of the 4. It's pretty obvious. Take your guess on the last one.
Oh man, I'm doing all right though. It's been a good week. Like James said, it's been some good weather outside. You know, got a nice view from my spot. You know, as I last week I did mention that I was going to hang out with family for the first time, and that happened over the
Okay.
Yeah.
last week. Yeah, that was fantastic, man.
How's the Rod Squad doing? How are they?
Uh, pretty good. I'm gonna say that you said that.
I don't know. It was me. I own it.
And no, everyone was really good. And honestly, it was really cool. I'm not like an overly like huggy person, but like I definitely enjoyed hugging my family on that. It was great. It was my mom's birthday, and she actually joined. I guess I can say this now. She actually joined a sorority. Finally, like she wanted to do that when she was in school, but she didn't. She just wasn't able to for some reasons. But now she was, and she was able to do that, and it was cool to celebrate that with her. So shout out to my mom, as they say. She's great. I definitely hugged her like 5 times for like 10 minutes each. It was great. It was fantastic. Yeah, man. It was. I don't know what else to say other than it was wonderful to see family finally.
So wait. So question real quick.
Yeah.
So with her joining sorority, like, does she have to like step?
I don't know. So the one that she joined, I yes, see, I don't know how all that goes. I think you could say she's in the AKA sorority.
They step,
So
bro.
I
It's over.
yeah. They definitely step. Well, the thing is, like with the whole ceremony that they did, so it was a lot of people in it as well. They we weren't allowed, basically. It was like only because normally I think under normal circumstances without COVID, family can come, and I think that's it, like immediate family. But they wouldn't even allow that this time, so it was only the people who were joining. But it was intense. Like she had to do like, she had to study, do courses and stuff like this. Like it was like it was school kind of. That like they don't just let you in. You have to like actually know a lot of shit. So that was really cool. I'm very proud of her, and it was just nice to celebrate that, her birthday, and just also all of like my extended family like in Georgia, like a bunch of them, my uncles, my aunts. It was cool. It wasn't like too big, but it was like. It was the crew who normally get together, and that was neat, very neat. So yeah, it was a good week for me.
Good stuff. You love to hear it. You love to hear it because like I know for you, you've been quarantined for this whole time.
Yeah,
So
pretty much.
man, you're one of the responsible ones, Rod.
I haven't seen I've seen my parents, but I didn't touch them. Like I never hugged them or anything like that. Like we were always masked up. Like we were always kind of 6 feet apart. So it was like I was stood in the driveway, and we talked, and it was like weird. Yeah, I mean it was like that sort of thing where you say bye, but you don't like hug, and that feels strange. But yeah, I haven't eaten in a restaurant yet, although I am working my way up to that. I think I'm going to start with somewhere outside first. I mean, it's weird. Like, to go from, like, nothing to normalcy it probably going to take a little bit of time for some people.
And listen, you live in Atlanta, so
Yeah.
that's been open for, like, the last, like, year. So now it's full force. And, like, the traffic has been, like, the worst it's ever been in the last year.
Right.
I just driving through the city the other day. I was like, damn, it's a lot of people out right now.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've seen and what I've heard. Like when I have gone out to places, occasionally, and never for hardly for pleasure, I'd say. Usually for things that I need. Like of course I have to go to the store and things like that. Yeah, I've noticed that the traffic was really calm in the beginning. Maybe until like the summer months, like that early summer. It kind of started to come back because people were like, I'm sick of quarantine, I want to do things, and that's exactly what they did. And I mean, look, it's cool. It is nice to see that the city is coming back alive. People are getting shots, and they're being safe, and the ones and I hope that the ones who aren't are continue to be safe for everyone else. And I think that's how that's going right now. The cases are going down nationwide. So I don't know about herd immunity. I think that might be a lost cause at this point. But
Yeah.
I mean, you got to kind of protect yourself and your loved ones first, and hopefully everyone else follows.
Because I think people they hear that, but they don't think. They're like, oh, that means I can't catch COVID now. No,
Right.
like just the other day, like I had to like 2 weeks ago, I had to help a store out because people had COVID, and like after the store got clean, I had to go over and help out. So
Wow.
people could still get COVID. It's still happening, y'all.
Yeah, it's not over. The pandemic is slowing down, but it's not over yet. So I'm still masking up. If I'm outside, if I'm on a run or something, I'll have my mask on me, but I won't be wearing it, obviously, because I'm vaccinated, I'm safe. I'm outside and I'm away from other people. But when I'm walking in my building, I still have it on. So that's just me being cautious, and I try to be respectful of everybody around me. I wish I could say the same for some of my neighbors, but whatever. But yeah, other than that, man, pretty good week. Can't complain.
Good stuff. And this week we have another special guest in the building, the virtual building. This week we have our Twitch mod, Elena, aka Subject T. What's good, Elena? What's going on?
school ended, so
Nice,
that's
nice.
always exciting. Then I start my summer job, and I'm going to be continuing to search for an actual teaching job. Hopefully, move out of this town into a bigger city.
You're
It's
just
a
ready. I
lot.
was gonna say you're just ready to leave your small town. That's good because
I
small towns suck.
They
They
do
can.
suck.
Yep.
I don't like the people in the town. Like,
And,
I'm not gonna date anyone from this town.
and everyone knows each other.
Yeah, so
Mm.
I just want to find a job and get out of here.
That's good. And so, like it's been a minute since you've been on the show. Like how did wrapping up the school year? Like how was that? How was the school year just in general for you?
It was, I would say, the fall semester of 2020 was really chaotic. Like, I was constantly filling in for other teachers because they were l- like leaving because they were sick with COVID and stuff like that. And I didn't really have, I was basically like an in-house substitute. And then spring it kind of let up a little bit. And then whenever our great, quote unquote great governor decided to say, yeah, you don't have to wear a mask anymore after spring break, or the week before spring break, we're like, oh shit. And so our school district initially said, no, we're going to still wear a mask. And then I would say after 2 to 3 weeks, he rescinded that and said, oh no, it's optional now. Because other districts around our city were going optional.
Mm.
And so he cowered out and didn't stick to the guns, and it went optional. But I still wore mine up until that last week because I'm in a portable building away from the school, and I only went in there once to eat and then came back to my portable. So I was only around 3-year-olds.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't too bad.
Dang, I don't remember having like the portables for elementary schools. That was like a middle school, high school thing.
The portables were supposed to be a temporary classroom that hopefully that they would add on to the other schools, but that never really happened
No, once
because
it
they've been there since like the early 2000s.
Oh yeah, it's not going anywhere.
yeah, it's not.
No.
That's locked in, bro.
Yeah.
It is. It's awful. Oh well.
What can you do?
Well, it was good that you made it through the school year and everything.
I know.
Excited to have you on for this week's episode. This week, of course, we'll talk about some gaming news. Talk about all these gaming streams that happened last week. I missed most of them. Honestly, I saw them and I was like, I'll catch the articles after they come out. But and then after that, we're gonna talk about indie games because I feel like if you haven't listened to the show before, we are a gaming podcast that love indie games. We love shouting out indie games, but I feel like there are some indie games that some people like just either never heard of or just they don't really get the shine light. So that's what this is for. This week we're gonna talk about a couple of games. But before we jump into all that, you already know what it is, y'all. Do you follow us on our social media pages? Are you part of the Facebook fam? No.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not on Facebook, I understand because like if I didn't have to be on Facebook, I wouldn't be on Facebook. But we're on Facebook. Should I play that? Facebook.com/ should I play that? Let's build a community there. I want to do like quizzes, polls, giveaways, yada yada yada. But y'all gotta be there first. So let's see you there. Let's see you on Twitter. Also, should I play that on Twitter? Should I play that on Instagram? Please follow us. We're gonna be putting out more content on those pages. And if you're part of the 17 of y'all that are on our YouTube page, what happened this past week? We actually uploaded a show. So thank you for shout out to the one person.
Shout out to you.
So the one person that watched it on YouTube. So of course, you guys, if you're not, watching us live on Twitch, which you should be, because once again, let's do more interactions and stuff like that during the show. You can catch on YouTube. maybe I could put it on Facebook too. I don't know. I'll work on some stuff, but the content is coming. And if I mean, for the audio listeners, like, I think y'all are solid. I appreciate y'all. Once again,
Definitely.
yeah, like, put reviews, share it with your gamer friends, like, share it in a Discord. Like, people like still mess with audio podcasts, but of course, if you can't, I know audio people, you can't see it, but we got a little upgrade on the stream.
A little bit.
Got a little upgrade on the logo, so
Hop over to that YouTube channel and take a
Yeah.
look for yourself.
see the look for yourself, or of course catch us live on Twitch on Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. But yeah, I just wanted to shout all that out.
Where can they do that? Where can they catch us live?
Oh, on SSJ Blackrod, twitch.tv/SSJ Blackrod. And
Yes.
hey, listen, everything is linked. If you find us on social media, you will get links to everything else. So I'm excited. This is like a new direction, or a newly reinvigorated Chris. That's just y'all.
I feel it.
I
feel it.
Being unleashed.
I'm
So,
excited. I'm really excited. So, with that, let's go ahead and jump into what we've been playing. So, if you haven't listened before, this is the first time, we like starting off the show with just catching up on what we've been playing over the last week. So, James, my man, what you been playing?
Yo. So I'm only on one game this week, and I'm actually kind of surprised. I've been playing Biomutant. This is from THQ Nordic and Experiment 101. This game has been on my radar for a few years now, back when I first saw it. So this is an open world action RPG featuring a customizable anthropomorphic animal character. Guess that makes the most sense. And it has like a morality system. It has crafting systems. It has loot. It has sword fighting, gunplay. It's basically like an amalgamation of all of the things that I enjoy in video games in one video game. But also comes with its own fair share of rough patches. So I've been trying to dive into it. I wasn't quite feeling it the first couple hours, but the more that I've delved in and the more that I've spent time with the game, there's actually a lot of content here, but not an overbearing amount of content. It's really intuitive. It doesn't have like a mini map that like guides you to every location, but at the same time, it's still very good about letting you know what you need to do next, while still letting you explore at the same time. I guess I should back up from the beginning. So the setting is post-apocalyptic Earth. All the humans have killed each other. The animals have come out. They begin to evolve. And so now you're making your way through this world trying to save the world tree, because that's the one thing that's standing between the Earth finally succumbing to the poison and the sickness, and then of course being able to continue on. And you have the option of whether you want to help the tree or hurt the tree, treat people good, treat people bad, that sort of thing. And I've played 2 different save files. I started out as a Psy Freak, as they call them, or the mage class in this case. You get different abilities like shooting lightning bolts, or freezing, or like pulse freezing ice, or using toxins to confuse enemies, have them fight each other, that sort of thing. So it's a very in-depth combat system, but it's kind of held back by an odd targeting system. It's kind of held back by weird glitchiness where certain effects don't play out the way they should. So it's a lot of give and take with this game. But at the time of it's recording, I believe they just dropped a patch a few hours ago even. I have not been able to test it out myself to say what's been fixed or what hasn't. But I've heard that it's fixed damage scaling. It's fixed a lot of the glitches, so I'm looking forward to it. And when I was playing the Psy Freak, I was playing on the good side of things, but then I ended up actually glitching one of the main quests, so I couldn't progress. So I ended up jumping back to the beginning. I picked up a gunslinger. I made him evil, and gunslinging is hilariously fun in this game. The AI is not the most intelligent I've ever encountered. It's really easy to kite, and they will just follow you in circles until they die. So, so again, it has its weak points, but at the same time, it's still such a fun, almost zen-like experience of traveling out into the world, coming across a random mount, finding some rare loot in the bottom of like a dungeon, or even just in the ruins of the old world, you find like a treadmill in somebody's house, and that increases your agility stats. Or you can find little puzzles in the form of things like microwaves or telephone booths. And the whole world has this funny way of like of trying to explain what these things are. Like instead of a telephone, it's like a ping pong booth or a ping ding booth or something like that. Or instead of a treadmill, it's a run board. So all the characters have these little funny names for the things that we all know in our day to day lives, and they also speak with kind of that early Banjo Kazooie gibberish kind of style.
Mm.
Or instead of like words like that
Oh,
kind of thing,
So there's like no voice acting.
there is voice acting. There's a narrator
Oh.
who translates all of it. And he'll pop up along your journey and be like, that mountain looks kind of interesting. Or if there was some way you can get across this goopy lake, or that kind of thing. So it's a very ambitious project. I think is the word I'm looking for. Ambitious in scope, ambitious in its ideas, but probably needs just a little bit more focus in order to really nail down all these parts. But from what I've been playing the past maybe like 8 hours or so of gameplay, I've had a lot of fun with it. So if any of that stuff interests you, I would definitely implore you to check on the updates, see what's been fixed, what's been patched. I think that it's not broken to the point where I wouldn't recommend that you play it, but it also is something that you might want to wait on paying the full price for. Yeah.
Yeah, this is interesting to me because I mean, and this has been said over and over and over again, but this was done by a really, really small team of, I believe, the core devs or the core team was like 20 people deep, I think, something like that.
Wow.
Outsourced by, I think, another 40 or so people. So, I mean, to have a project on this scale and scope that like is barely goes over 60 is pretty impressive. Just the fact that they got it running at all. But this has been long gestating. This project has been out there in the wild apparently for a really long time. I actually did not know this existed until like a few months ago. And I only found out about this because they started kind of ramping up the marketing, and I thought it looked like a very pretty game. And I was kind of interested in it, but ended up I just got busy with other stuff, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll just wait and see on that. And the reception seems pretty muted, but it does kind of skew in the direction of what you're saying. Like there are people out there kind of finding enjoyment on it, so it's not like a super home run, but there's enough there. It has potential, basically.
It's a solid double if we're going baseball terms. It's a solid double.
So yeah, that's interesting. The thing about the narrator actually caught my attention at first because of course that's reminiscent of something like Bastion.
There it is.
And I was like, all right, like how good is it? And so I was kind of watching a little bit of gameplay on this just because I was curious, and it's like, so the people will be talking, like they'll do like the little chirp 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 chirp, like their animal sounds, and then like the narrator will literally like recite what they say, like, oh, he said go to the mountain over there or whatever.
Right.
And I'm like, why don't you just like have them say that then? Like, why have they? And I just didn't understand the purpose of the animal voices at that point. It was like a stylistic choice. It's not like a deal breaker or anything, but I think that's representative of like of a bigger question that I had. That seems like from what you're saying and from other impressions that I've been getting is that like there's a lot of questionable decisions or things that don't feel like fully fleshed out all the way. It's like they took took a smorgasbord of like all the hottest trends right now and said, "Ooh, we like Breath of the Wild, we like Bastion, we like this and that," and like they took all these pieces from a lot of these games and sort of like smashed them together, and some stick and some don't. Sounds like. Um,
I guess that kind of works though, just with the whole concept of the title at all, as being like this hodgepodge, this mutant of all the things that came before you, you know.
you're right, right.
So it
Yeah.
kind of does work. And to answer your question about the narrator, my thoughts are it's cheaper voice acting wise. You hire one main voice actor to handle all of the line work, and you have like 3 or 4 of your friends that are working on the game with you. Just make a bunch of random noises and put them on the animals.
That's actually pretty. That's genius. That's smart.
Apparently,
I do wonder. Oh, go ahead, James.
I was gonna say, apparently, at the time of this recording, the patch allows you to decide if you want to hear both or just hear the narrator, and then also the frequency in which they appear. So they've heard concerns, which is really cool. It's only been out like not even a week, and they've already dropped them like a major patch to fix the game. So.
Yeah, yeah. I was reading through some of those patch notes, and I mean, even not having played the game, it seems pretty significant. Like a lot of the things that they were dropping like that. So, yeah, it sounds interesting for sure. Like I'm curious. This seems like a good this seems like a good Game Pass game is what I was going to say.
I would not disagree with you.
Yeah.
This takes me back to like those like random PS2 games you'd find. You're like, I didn't know about this. It's not great, but I'm enjoying myself.
Yeah.
Like it's not this isn't like Grand Theft Auto Vice City or San Andreas, but it's a solid GTA, like that kind of thing.
Right. Like some part of me kind of like takes a step back and is like, okay, obviously this doesn't have the manpower of like 18 studios and like 30,000 people working on it. Like there's only so much that they can realistically do. So it's like I don't want to punch down on them and then be like, oh, this shit sucks, because I don't get the impression that it sucks. At least not that it's awful or anything. It just seems like they could be tightened up in a few areas. Tightened up on level 3, as I don't know if you guys remember those old video game commercials where the kids were like testing games and they were like, there's like a dude in the background like, hey kids, like what should we do to make this game this level better? And the kids are like, I think this needs some tightening up on level 3. It was like a really mainstream way to like communicate. It's like a really stupid way to simplify game development. Go ahead.
It's like gamer talk, like how like hackers are like, oh, I'm breaking through the mainframe and they're just tapping on the keyboard, like almost through the firewall.
yes, exactly. So yeah, it's not like it seems like they could
Oh
do
god,
some.
I just had a flashback. Remember the movie Grandma's Boy?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Oh man, yes. Grandma's Boy.
Yeah, y'all don't watch that movie.
Oh, I thought we were going somewhere with that.
No, it's embarrassing.
Oh, okay.
It was a product of the time, to be sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool that that this is getting some polish. Maybe I'll take a look at this a little bit later. I'm certainly intrigued. Just like kind of, there are some games I'd like to play sometimes just from an academic sense of like point of view to just like understand something, like why something is. And this might be one of those titles for that. But yeah, it's good to hear your impressions.
Yeah. Also, shout out to the design team, whoever like designed the animals and the monsters in this game, because it ranges from like, oh, that's obviously like a mutated ferret, so what the fuck is that? Like real quick. I was unsure if I was gonna like save the world or burn it, but after seeing some of these monsters, burn the whole thing. I don't want it no more. Y'all can go.
Oof.
Like it's good. It's scary, but it's good. But yeah, that's all I've been playing this week.
Okay.
So who's up next?
Oh, so we normally go guest first, but like I saw that you had one game, so sort of wanted to knock that out before we jump. Yeah, before we jump into all these other games. But Elena, what you been playing?
Mainly the Overwatch event, the anniversary event. And did you guys talk about Overwatch?
We did.
2? You did? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I
What do you
cannot.
about it?
Feel free to, yeah. What do you think about it? Feel free to jump in.
I am so glad 2CP will hopefully be gone.
Mhm.
Hopefully they stick to that. One tank. After a few games playing with Rod and competitive, I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of glad that there's one tank because this double shield shit is annoying.
It's true.
So
So wait, the new comp is live in current Overwatch?
no, for Overwatch 2, they're gonna reduce it down to 5v5, and then it'll just be one tank instead of two.
Right. I remember hearing about that. I thought you said you were doing that this week. Okay.
No.
No, she was just like we were grinding out the Overwatch event this week, and we were just dealing with a lot of like in comp, we were dealing with a lot of double shield meta.
Oh, gotcha.
So we were just like, fuck this, we can't wait for one tank. I'm tired of shooting shields.
I don't
Yeah.
blame you. That could get
Was-
annoying.
Yeah. But other than that, I've been dabbling in Bloodborne 2 again, but on my own with zero help from Rod,
Cool.
and I still get lost, but that's okay.
Yeah, but you're kicking ass though.
Okay, so I didn't one-shot Cleric Beast like I did the first time, and that made me really mad, and it hurt my ego a little bit.
But then you came back better and stronger than ever and killed it, didn't you?
After I quit playing for like a couple days, because I was really mad, because I got him down to like 15% health left, and I died. I was like, you know, fuck this. I'm playing Overwatch.
You adapted. You adapted. You learned. That's the soul's ethos, baby. That's
But
what you got to do.
But I think I did beat Gascoigne in 2. And I was
nice.
I parried the fuck out of him. Like, I got really good with my gun.
Yeah.
And now I'm stuck on Bloodstarve, which is pissing me off. I'm out of resources, so I have to go grind.
Yeah, grind a little bit, buy Molotovs, you'll be good.
But I can parry him, but after stage 2, I can't parry him as well anymore, or not as reliable. And I get too hooked on that.
So what prompted this playthrough, the second playthrough? Because you and I have been, like you said before, you and I have been doing a playthrough, which we haven't finished yet. We're at
Nope.
like towards the very end of
Yep.
that. So we've done most of the game up to that point. But what prompted you to go back on your own and replay some of this stuff?
Because we missed out on talking to Eileen the Crow, and that made me really sad because I want her weapons and I want her clothes. And that made me so sad, so I decided to replay Bloodborne just so I can finish her quest.
I could think of worse ways to spend your time than playing
Fashion
Bloodborne
Born.
again, to be honest.
Nice.
Fashion,
Yeah.
Fashion Souls, Fashion Born. You know.
Yep. I just want her weapon, man. That's so cool. Blades of Mercy. What a good
Yeah.
name.
I really like Lady Maria's weapons better, but yeah, theirs pretty good.
Well, hey, I like both of them. For just, like, regular Bloodborne, like, just through the main thing, cool name. Lady Maria with the DLC, that's sick as fuck.
Yeah.
And she's awesome. But, other than that, I've been playing Pokemon, and I realized that I didn't do a side quest in the Crown Tundra DLC, and I think it's bugged because I can't find Sonia anywhere. She's like the new professor or whatever, and I can't find her because you're supposed to talk to her and you'll find 3 new legendaries. Well, I won't say new, they're from previous regions, but I can't find any of the footprints or anything, so I don't know if my version is bugged or not.
I have no idea. I haven't played any of the DLC.
either.
I've started them and I'm like, okay. I literally started import all of my old Pokemon from was it Pokemon Park? What's it called now? Like, what is the
Home?
Pokemon Home?
Home.
Yeah.
Yes.
Imported all the Pokemon that just got updated, and I'm like, cool. All of my trained killers are home. Perfect.
Hey, I'm just excited for the new Pokemon games coming out in November and in January. I'm excited.
I'm down for the remake. I'm still not sure about this Arceus thing.
Well, Chris, you look unenthused. I'm kind of surprised about that. Like, aren't you like a big Pokemon dude?
No.
I am. But
But-
It's not as big as me.
See, you have the patience to go through all the bullshit. Like like I've done that, and like I don't want to do it again. I am super casual now. Like it's
Oh,
Pokemon.
you're like me.
So Pokemon has like gotten like this weird uptick in like the last like 5 years where people were playing the game again, and that's great. That's perfect. But I feel like now that there's so much eyes on the franchise, they got to do a better job with like, just the overall game. Like one of the games I'm gonna talk about later is I'll sort of like save me like trash talking Pokemon Sword and Shield later, but goddamn.
I do wish that Pokemon Company would follow in the footsteps of Pokemon Go with their events. Because
Yes,
their
yes.
events are monthly and they're always different and they always add some new things to it or new gimmicks or whatever.
So then I don't know what it is. Is it Game Freak like not wanting to change up thing? I mean, they I feel like they want to change things, but like the pace that they're doing it at is so slow that I think they're just afraid of like, I guess, the backlash for change for the franchise. But honestly, honestly,
I
feel
think
like
it's because they're putting more people onto the other 2 games or 3 games rather than onto Sword and Shield that's been out for like 2-3 years.
but what I'm
And I
saying
think
is,
Sword and Shield is like the prototype for Arceus, is my theory.
yeah,
If that's the
and
case, I really don't want it.
oh, so
Interesting.
so you didn't like the open world of like
The wild area
Wild
idea
area,
is cool.
yeah.
Yes, I do like that. But everything else besides the wild area in that game is subpar at best.
I don't think they're going for that in Arceus.
No.
Like, at least not from what I gleaned from what. I mean, we don't know shit about it, honestly. But from like that 2-minute trailer, like I got the feel like they were like, "Hey, we're taking that wild concept from Sword and Shield, and we're making that into its own game." And
Yeah,
that,
that's what I got.
like I thought the wild stuff, as someone who wasn't paying super close attention to the media for Sword and Shield, like I actually thought the wild stuff was like the game. And I was really excited about that. Oh, I thought you were laughing, James. I was like, yeah, that fucking sucks.
Sorry.
I
I mean, to me, yeah, it does. That's not enough for a game for me.
gotcha. I understand.
Continue.
Oh no, that was it. Yeah, I mean, like I'm interested more in the Arceus thing. I mean, I guess the remake is. I haven't played the whatever the remake is, Sapphire, Pearl, Diamond, whatever. Like I don't.
Bro.
Diamond, Pearl. Yeah,
Oh, James is so offended. He was
no, I haven't played any. I played Blue, Gold, and Y.
Mm-hmm.
I would say I'm in that same boat. I've only played a little bit of Red because I borrowed someone's Game Boy Color back in the
Mhm.
day, and then I played X.
Yeah, like
And
I'm a
That
filthy
was it.
I'm a filthy Gen 1er. Like that's all I know. That's all I care about. I'll take even 256. Like I'll take that. After everything after that is like I don't have no fucking clue. So
I don't know, man. Personally, Diamond and Pearl was like my favorite region.
I hear that. I hear that a lot, and that's kind of why I'm interested in it. But like just conceptually, the Arceus game or whatever, like
Mhm.
that to me is such a new. Like the remake, I think will be cool. Like I think that'll be neat, a nice experience for people to have. But I feel like that's a known quantity. Like I know what I'm getting out of that, and the other game, the Legends, is more new. It's more of the quote unquote upgraded like console experience that I hesitate even saying that, but like it's more of the experience I was expecting to have with Sword and Shield, basically.
honestly, if they had turned this remake into like a Let's Go, I would have been more excited about that.
Ooh, I like Let's Go. A lot of people didn't, but I
Yeah,
did.
if I was gonna replay through the game, I'd rather do what they did with Let's Go and like make it like the same experience, but you're playing it as like a separate person, so you see like the main characters like running around in the the environment. But yeah, like Let's Go was so much of a like, it was a nice experience. Like I know people were
Yeah.
like, "Oh, it's so different." Shut up. Like
It really wasn't.
it really exactly it really wasn't. And so like the changes that they made, like whenever they make quality of life changes in Pokemon games, so you have like the vocal minority like complaining about it, and I think that's what Game Freak freaks out about. But no, we love change. Like Let's Go was actually pretty fun.
Yeah.
I no at that point I was really looking forward to seeing them do like a Let's Go Johto, let's go like Gold and Silver, Let's Go, just
Diamond
just do
and
Let's Go,
Pearl.
yeah, with the rest
Yeah.
of them. That would be fine. That would be perfect.
I can do without the motion control Pokeball catching though.
Yeah, I could do without
Yeah,
that.
I would agree with that. I don't really
Yeah.
like or care for that stuff. Everything else sounds cool though. I do want to ask you real quick before we hop topics here though, James. What makes this region the best? I'm just curious. I always hear that, but I don't know why.
That's a really good question. I just think that, now, again, it's been a while, so I'm probably like rusty on my knowledge of the region. But I just really liked the layout of everything. It was varied enough that I could go from like a lush forest to a quarry to a snow-capped mountain. And most Pokemon games do that, but it felt organic. And personally, I just like the Pokemon designs in this one. Infernape is my favorite fire type starter, period. Even Empoleon and Torterra, like I've never really been a huge fan of grass types, besides like maybe Venusaur, but Torterra was fire. You end up getting Garchomp in this game. You got Rampardos in this game. There was just a lot of really cool designs.
There was solid designs in this game. It really was. Like,
The gym-
like Lucario. Like that was the
Lucario.
biggest one.
Oh,
out
that's
of
where
this
he's from,
generation
okay.
for me.
Yeah, that's where he's from. The gym leaders were cool. The champion was clean. Like Cynthia wasn't no
Cynthia-
joke.
I think like to me, out of all the champions, Cynthia was like the most like intimidating.
More than Red?
Yes,
Easily.
easily.
Oh man. I still think that like the whole mythos behind Red is like unintentionally cool as fuck. Like I don't think that they actually meant for it to be that cool, but it's actually fucking awesome.
And I agree with that statement.
Yeah.
Like he's
Isn't
cool.
he supposed to represent you as a player, like in that universe? Because
I mean,
you're the
he
one that's
was.
beating. Because aren't you the one that's beating all these champions, and so he represents you, but in the Pokemon universe?
I could see that. Yeah.
And then even like that awesome moment in like Gold and Silver where you make it to the top of the
Yes,
mountain and he's just
yes.
waiting for you.
He's just dude, he's like just waiting and it's all the fucking Pokemon that like you probably like the most powerful ones from that region and they're all leveled as fuck. Like that I don't know. And then he doesn't even say anything. That's fucking
That was
Yeah, he was
his
clean.
his Pokemon have been like, I think like the level his Pokemon were in that game. It was like the highest like we've ever seen
Yeah.
a trainer's Pokemon. So
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Something about that
was
was
a good fight.
really cool. Like that'll be like one of my most cherished like child video game memories is just getting to that because I wasn't expecting it at that time. And I just remember that blowing my little fucking mind, going like, "Oh my god!"
Right?
Yeah, very cool, very cool.
But I think you should check it out, Roddy. I think you'd enjoy Diamond and Pearl.
I probably will. Who knows what else is coming out this fall for anyone? So
Yeah.
I probably will.
Yeah. Not a lot of
Uh,
options here.
Yeah.
But you don't think Halo's gonna come out then November?
I actually think Halo is the only thing I expect to see this fall. Maybe Forza Horizon, but that to me isn't promised. I do think that we're getting that. I don't think that they're missing another year. I feel like that game has to be content complete. It must have been content complete when they delayed it. That's kind of why it shook me so much when like it was delayed a full calendar year. There's no way they're changing like the bones are in place for the game. Like there's not much that they can do with just raw content. Like you could change certain things here and there, I'm sure, but you're not changing the story wholesale. Like or anything fundamental about the gameplay. Like the grapple hook will still probably be the thing. Like, maybe you can insert some volumetric lighting here or some ray tracing there on the Series X or something like that. But like you can make it pretty, but I don't think you're changing the core of what that thing is.
damn, I totally
I
forgot.
bet they're really fixing
this
up
is-
the Xbox One
Yeah,
version.
because it's cross-platform still, right?
It's still cross-platform. They need to go ahead and
Fuck.
drop that, but
Nope.
you know.
Another 2 more years, bro.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. That's the dream, but I do understand like, they have to sell this game. They want to sell it to like a large install base. Like you're not going to put it exclusively on next gen right now even though that sucks. But yeah. That's the scenic route to say that I think Halo's coming, and that's literally all I have faith in. I thought Horizon might come, but honestly, at this point, I have no idea. I have no idea. But we'll get to that as well. I guess it's my turn to talk about what I've been playing.
Yeah, dog.
All right, so I'll blast through these games real quick. Famicom Detective Club. So I finished the second game, The Girl Who Stands Behind. I think that's the actual name. And that is the second in the duology. I finished The Missing Heir last week. I think I mentioned that briefly on the episode last week. And I really enjoyed it. Same with Girl Who Stands Behind. I actually think that this one was slightly better for a few different reasons. Number one, I think that the storyline is more intriguing throughout, whereas I think Missing Heir gets interesting about maybe like a halfway through, not halfway through, but like approaching that halfway point where things start to kind of come together. And Girl Who Stands Behind kind of starts with a bang, and it also has a supernatural tinge to it. So if you're into like X-Files or just like anything, I don't know, spooky, you might actually dig that angle. And I think that's really neat. Other thing too is that the animation for some reason seemed way more smooth, and there seemed like a lot more of it. In The Missing Heir, there was a lot of beautiful animation, but a lot of it is static. It's a lot of people kind of like standing in one place and talking to you as you're wandering around the Japanese countryside, questioning people and presenting evidence and whatnot. But in The Girl Who Stands Behind, there's a lot more of actual action happening. There's a lot more like running and there's things happening on screen. It's almost like it's animated in some parts, like genuinely animated all the way through, and that was really cool. As someone who plays a lot of these sort of point and click adventure games, like that's always really nice to see. And the voice acting is really solid too. And also the thing that I loved the most is that the logic made sense for like 95% of it. Whereas in Missing Heir, there were several obtuse moments where I'm just like, what the actual fuck do you do here? I actually have no idea. But it was nice to not get super stuck or as stuck as everybody else seemed to get on certain things, because I play a lot of these games, so I'm used to like clicking a bunch of shit and finding out what works in which order. So I really, really liked it. So I would highly recommend these games, honestly, both of them. If you can only play one, if you only feel like committing to one, I think Girl Who Stands Behind is the one to do. It's also a prequel that goes directly into Missing Heir, even though Missing Heir released first in like 1988, I think, and Girl Who Stands Behind was like 89. It's really cool. Like I said last week, it's really nice to kind of see gaming history and be a part of that, especially for this genre that I really, really love. And I'll be playing more of when Great Ace Attorney comes out, like in a few months. It's cool to see where all of that comes in, and it's pretty mature for a Nintendo game. Don't forget, this is a straight up Nintendo title. Like this was developed, or the remake was developed by this company called Mages, but Nintendo made this and they put this out, and it's like kind of grisly at some points, and it kind of like shakes you in some parts, and you're like, oh yeah, Nintendo is yeah, if anyone tells you they're for kids, that's not entirely true. So it's pretty neat to see that. So really, really enjoyed my time with these pair of games. Oh, and before I go to the next thing, I talked about this game and didn't even like explain what the plot even was for this. The idea behind it is that you're investigating a case. There's a girl who shows up dead in like a riverbank, and it goes to this high school, and you start investigating the school. Turns out that there is a rumor that there is a girl who stands behind people, basically. And I know that sounds silly, but like it's actually a lot more creepy than it sounds. But like when like people are at school alone, like they kind of always feel like people are watching them, and like even the adults believe it. It's not just a kids thing. And people start having accidents around the school, nobody knows why, and then there begins to be other murders involved eventually. And it just is, you get wrapped up in a conspiracy that is, it spans, a really good story to me, kind of, it always keeps you, it not only keeps you guessing, but it wants you to kind of play along as the detective. You do feel like you're trying to solve the case alongside the actual protagonist. The worst thing is when you think you figured something, you figured something out before the character does, and at that point you're just waiting for the other shoe to drop. That actually didn't happen. That happened in Missing Air. Like to me, I kind of guessed everything really early on and just kind of watched it play out. It still was entertaining in that way, but here in this game, I had an idea, but I wasn't quite certain how all the pieces fit together. So that made the mystery really exciting and intriguing for me. I was like, okay, well, how could this person be a suspect in this instance if they da 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 da? So that was really neat, and it was cool to be involved in something like that. So definitely recommended if you're interested in just a really nice story with some great animation and music to it. Um, the next game I've got is Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown. So this actually just released as of this recording yesterday. So it's been out for like 24 hours now. Well, technically, I guess it's been out for like 10 years because it is Virtua Fighter 5 straight up. It is that game. I am a Virtua Fighter fan. I really love the series. This is probably, in my mind, the best 3D fighter out there. It is so precise. If you don't know, Virtua Fighter is actually based on real combat moves or combat styles. So they've actually based it on actual techniques that you would see in real life, which is pretty cool.
Honestly, I don't know. That guy just jumped up really high up in the air. That's he's a ninja. So
Oh, you talking about Kage?
Yeah.
Kage is that dude. Yeah, it's really awesome, really diverse character set. The unique thing about this is that
I love this fighting style.
the cool thing about this is that the Yakuza series or the Yakuza developers actually use their engine to help develop this game. Now, they didn't do anything with the gameplay. The gameplay is completely Virtua Fighter. It's identical to the old game that has been out, which is great. I did not want it to change. And so I think, James, you were telling me before that you thought it was the engine, and I got like really worried because I was like, oh God, like don't fuck with a perfect thing. But really, they just used it to give it a new coat of paint. That's really all they did. And it looks great. I mean, if you've played any of the later Yakuza games like 6 or 7 or Judgment, like those games look spectacular. And Virtua Fighter 5 is just like those. I would say probably more like 7 and Judgment, really, in terms of just visual fidelity. So all the character models look really awesome. Vanessa, who is like one of the fucking best animated fighting game characters I think I've ever seen in my life. Like it's just excellent. Even if I'm getting my ass whipped by a Vanessa, like I'm not even mad because like she looks amazing. Just the way that like they've animated her, and yeah, I really like this. This is a pretty bare bones package. You get an arcade style thing, so you go through like a round robin with like 7, 8 people. And then I don't even think you get cutscenes in this. Actually, I think it's just like based on score. I might be wrong about that, but you get also like offline play, of course, and online play and training. And that's it. It's very no frills type of thing. And one of the cool things I do like that this game does is that on the main menu, it actually has replays, like random replays from actual like human players against each other on the ranked to online mode. Really cool idea. I can't believe that we haven't seen that implemented on any other fighting game quite yet, but that's really neat.
Wait, so in the menu you see this?
Yeah, main menu. Like when you first boot up the game, like you're just like kind of sitting on the menu. In the top right hand corner, it picks up maybe like more than a quarter of the screen, but it's just like a live replay of a match, like just randomly. It's really cool.
It's actually pretty
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's extremely cool. You might see something like that you like and want to try, or like, ooh, Jeffrey looks cool, I'll try him, or wow, Jackie actually doesn't suck, I want to try him. So things like that. It's pretty nice. Are you guys Virtua Fighter fans, or have you ever played the franchise?
I've played it, but I've never been like super like heavy in it. Like I mean, like you said, it's a different type of fighter. Like coming from like Tekken, like I'll say I've like 3D fighters, like that's like my go-to is Tekken for that. And it's pretty different. Like this one, like you said, is really precise. You really have to sort of know what you're doing when playing this. So it's free, PlayStation Plus. Shout out to PlayStation Plus for that. But yeah, I'll give it a shot. I have no problem like trying it out and playing it.
Yeah, I I definitely think it's worth a shot, especially PS Plus. Might as well grab it, see if you like it. It is extremely deliberate. That's the word I would use for this. You definitely want to know. I mean, but button mash away, there are definitely precise movements and presses that you want to make, and just paying strict attention. That's kind of what I love about the series, and why I think it's so good. It relies less. You compare. You said Tekken is your thing. Like Tekken is more like a focus on juggling, like in the air, kind of. And Virtual Fighter is very much not about that. Kind of getting in like your licks where you could get them. So definitely different design philosophy. But I think you might enjoy it. So definitely check that out if you're interested.
I heard a lot of discourse about that game about its netcode.
I have as well. I actually haven't had any issues. So the hubbub about it is that there's no rollback netcode, which is what
Yeah, that one.
Guilty Gear Strive uses, and that's actually why it feels like pristine. And that's the best netcode that you can have. This doesn't have rollback, but I actually personally, now I might be a unique case because I'm hardwired into fiber internet, so I have pretty just good connections. But I haven't experienced much like lag or anything on my end. So I know I did hear a lot of worry about that beforehand, but since it's been out, I haven't seen too much more complaining. But hopefully this is like Sega's opportunity to like dip their toe back into the series, because I've been wanting another Virtua Fighter for a really long time. And it's nice that I can actually play this on a console that I actually have plugged up, because I don't have my PlayStation 3 plugged up anymore. In fact, I think Virtua Fighter 5 might have been, I think it was PS3.
I think so.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Virtua Fighter. The last game I want to talk about real quick is called Scarlet Nexus. James, you played this demo, didn't you, as well?
Very briefly, but yes.
Okay. So this is an anime game.
You can't say it like that.
Man, this is like this is some anime bullshit. Now, I will say that like the game itself is actually kind of cool. Like I actually liked playing the game. Like anime, I have no fucking clue what is going on in this game at all. Like I tried to like.
Isn't that the best?
Oh my god. So it's just very much it's it's one of those. Like it's one of those experiences where like you have like you look at the character and you just know how they're going to sound before they even open their mouth. Like it's one of those type of things. And I played it twice as well because it's a dual narrative. Right? So I actually played the lady first because I heard a lot of people say, "Hey, you should play her because it's a smoother combat experience like than if you go with the guy first." And I was like, "Okay, sure." So played her and thought she was cool, but again, didn't know what the fuck was going on. Something about like you're in a military task force. And there are monsters. The world is fucked up. You do something called a brain dive. It's very anime. Like if you like anime, you'll probably like this. But the idea though is that these enemies are out in the world, and you have 4 different abilities that you can switch between at all times. And between the lady and the guy, they have 4 different abilities. So I think Kaede or whatever her name is, she has like I think ice. No, she has electricity. I think she could turn invisible, or she can see invisible things, or something like that. But the point is that the teammates, like you actually have like AI who are fighting around you. So it's to give you an idea, it's like an action RPG, like Kingdom Hearts.
Just to add on to what you're saying with the teammates, they're the ones that give you those powers. So you have the ability to use telekinesis as your main character, and then you also get the ability to take your teammates' powers and amplify your own with their abilities.
Exactly, and it functions within the environment. So going off of that example, like if I like get an enemy, like if I douse an enemy like with water, if I get like they get if they're wet or whatever, I take the electric power and I can electrify them. I can like put more damage onto them in that sense and deal more damage that way. And then you get like an ultimate ability where you can, or an ultimate move where you can like eliminate them instantaneously. You have to like, I guess get their stun meter all the way up or something like that. And it's kind of neat. Like it's actually like the mechanics behind it are actually pretty cool. I don't what I don't understand is, and James, you said you only played like a little bit of this, so I'm not sure
Mhm.
if you saw it, but like so I played both sides of this, and I was thinking like, oh okay, cool, there'll be like two different narratives, kinda, but not really. So like
Mhm.
I played the woman, and everything happened in her story, so I was like, all right, cool. Played the man, and it was like a similar situation, and with even similar dialogue. Like the first time around, they were like, you know, oh man, we're gonna go on this mission. It's gonna be great first time. And then on the man, when I played the man, they were like, great first time on the mission, first time, something like that. Like it was the same style of dialogue, but it was a
Mhm.
completely different setting. So I was like, is this? Am I meant to play like both of these people at the same time? Like it was very
Mhm.
bizarre. Like I
So
couldn't. Oh, go ahead.
from what I was able to gather as far as that information goes, is that they're on different squads in the same kind of unit. So that's why it's like, oh, you're new to the squad too, that kind of thing.
That's what I thought, but it's like there are analogs for everything. So if you're the lady, you have a lady AI, and they say literally the same thing that they say if you play the dude, and you have a dude AI, and it's the same bit of dialogue, like situationally, like in terms of the events that happen. Like at the very end, the same boss appears, like the
Hmm.
same fight and the same dialogue. So at the end of the demo, like you fight the boss, you kill it, and then like the media comes down, like on these. This is a like a far future type thing,
Right.
and the media is represented by like these flying uh sentient beings, I guess. I don't know if they're actually sentient, but like they fly down and they're like, oh, we got to get some screen time with the new, like the leader. Good job, leader. And they say the same thing, literally the exact same thing on the other side of the story. So it's like, okay, what are you what are you getting if you play like both of these roles? Like I didn't quite, that wasn't really working for me at all. I was just like, I wasn't understanding because it's being billed as like a dual narrative, like something you're meant to play through twice. But I didn't get that. You guys didn't play Near Automata, did you?
I didn't finish it.
Um, yeah, I didn't
Okay.
finish it, but
The
yeah.
reason why I ask is because it was like it's like playing through Route B on
Hmm.
Near Automata, where like it's largely the same thing. Of course, that playthrough diverges at a certain point where you're playing completely new content. But like it is almost the same thing though. Like where
Mhm.
it's identical scenarios, and I was just like, what the fuck? And then I realized I was spending way too much time thinking about this anime plot that made no sense anyway. So then I was like, all right, fuck this, and I should just focus on the game. What did you think of the gameplay, James, of this?
So I think that the gameplay loop is actually pretty solid.
Hmm.
I like the ebb and flow between using your special abilities versus your normal attacks.
Yep.
Um, so like you have a telekinesis bar basically, and you can use it to inflict big damage, but then of course you have to refill the gauge. So that's what, like incentivizes you to get in with your main attacks, hack slash build up your bar, and the two just kind of flow into each other. So that was really cool. I do like the effects. I like the ability to pick up different powers from your teammates. Um, so I mean, I did enjoy that. I also like how everybody's using the persona method now, of like we need to build our social links so we have better compatibility in combat. It's a
Makes
cool
sense.
concept. It's novel, but I like it. Um, but besides that, man, I need to play the demo some more. Biomutant came out relatively close to the same time, and so was Mass Effect. So I picked those two. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm curious to see what else Scarlet Nexus has.
It did intrigue me like more than I was. I think I downloaded it because I was like, oh, this is that game that Microsoft keeps showing at their conference every fucking chance they get. So like, let's see.
Looks really good.
Yeah, I was like, let's just see what this is. You know, it was almost like an odd world thing in a sense, except I
Mhm.
actually wanted to sort of try this. Um, and yeah, I walked away going like, all right, that wasn't that wasn't bad. Like that could have been worse, basically. Like
Mhm.
that could have been terrible, but it was actually really really cool. And the nice thing is that when you do play the two characters, they're the same. Again, the same principles apply gameplay wise, but you are getting different powers, so you can use them in different ways. Like the guy gets teleport, where he can like blink through objects,
Mhm.
which is cool. And like every time you attack an enemy, he'll blink between enemies and like essentially just swap between it very fast. So stuff like that is neat. So I think it's got a neat style to it. a cool twist on the action RPG that might be worth looking at whenever that comes out. So, yeah, that's Scarlet Nexus, and that's all I've been playing this week. Chris, what you been playing?
Oh boy. Oh man. Oh shit.
Oh shit.
All right. So earlier in the episode, we were talking about Pokemon Sword and Shield, and I was like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna wait until I slander this game.
Oh wow, okay.
So this is that time. Here we go. So with Sword and Shield, with me being a fan of the Pokemon series for so long, being with the franchise, like I see when the changes happen, and I'll give them this. Sword and Shield has been like the to tell you the truth, Let's Go was like the biggest like jump off point, like the biggest like change, the biggest shake up that we've gotten. And then of course Sword and Shield came out with the Wild Area, which I thought was, the step in the right direction that we needed like a decade ago. So just the whole monster hunting or monster collecting type of game was something that honestly I feel like I was sort of burnt out on. After playing Sword and Shield, I think the next game that I played was what was it called? It's dang, I already forgot the name. It's not
Bugsnax?
not Bugsnax. It's it was on the PC now, and then they ported it to PS4.
Oh,
Oh,
Nexomon.
Not that one. Well, anyways, that just shows you like how I wish I remembered the name of the game because it was actually decent. It was a game that took the genre of monster collecting, and it it added what people wanted to see. Temtem. Thank you.
Temtem.
Yes, Temtem was actually fun. I enjoyed myself with Temtem. I didn't finish playing it because at the time that I sort of picked it up, it was still like early access. Apparently, the second half of the game wasn't out yet. So I played enough up until the point where like something else distracted me. Typical Chris, gamer ADHD. But then I was like, I sort of jumped onto this next game called Monster Sanctuary, and it's a monster collecting game. It's and like once and I sort of jumped on it on a whim. It's on Game Pass, and that's how I'm playing it right now. I sort of like it was just on the list, and I was like, this looks interesting. Well, I mean, interesting. This looks different. I'm just gonna honestly, what I did was the whole like, oh, this book cover looks really good, so let me see what this is about. It ended up being a monster collecting game. This sort of started off as like a free time project, so it was a super small team that worked on this game. They started this around 2015. It went full-time in 2018, went to Steam Early Access in 2019, and then fully released on PC, PS4, Switch, Xbox One, and of course Game Pass in December 2020. So it's relatively new, and it retails for $19.99. So this game sort of it starts off like with the story of a character who's like part of like this long lineage of like monster collectors or monster trainers, and you're like the world in this game is set in a sanctuary that's cut off from like the other world, like from like our world. So you have like these monsters that are running around where like these tamers can can battle them, can get eggs from them, and like pretty much like once you get an egg from a monster, you can hatch it and pretty much add that monster to your team. So there really it's not really like a catching mechanic. It's more or less you fight the monsters, which this game is 3v3 the whole time. And if you do well enough in a battle, there's a ranking. So if you get at least, from what I've noticed, 4 to 5 stars, you can typically expect to get a monster egg. But sometimes, it's a rare thing. So a lot of times you won't get it. You'll have to find the monster again and just try and do a better job fighting it. But you have these different families that have these different monsters that have been passed down from generation to generation. So pretty much like that's your starter in this game. So you start off as like a new trainer, and you're sort of like thrown into the world, and of course something's going wrong in the sanctuary, something's weird, and it's up to you and these other trainers to figure out what's going on. And that story in itself is like, oh, it's not like super captivating, it's not something that's like game changing for the genre, but it's enough to sort of like keep me going, because another cool twist about this game is that it's a monster collecting Metroidvania game. So essentially, like, you're when you start the game, you're like being trained, and like they're sort of pretty much you're going through the tutorials teaching the game. And I think what sort of hooked me in at that point was that, like, the 3v3 thing is pretty cool, but like, I don't know, I think at this point, being a fan of the genre, any new franchise I jump into, I think just the change, the character design, like just the stuff that's different, that's sort of like what sucks me in. And I'm like, oh, this character design is cool. And then once I'm like looking at the like the monsters, I'll start looking at like their stats. I'll start looking at their move list. And that's where the game like really hooks me in, is that each monster sort of like it fits a certain archetype, where like some monsters may be more like attackers, they may be defenders. You have some monsters where it really falls down to how you want to play them, because instead of like just leveling up and like you're getting moves that way, you're leveling up and getting skill points, which you then take to a skill tree. And that's pretty much where it gives you like, hey, if you want your monster to be a tank, you can put the skill points on that tree where it could be a tank. But if you're like, I already have a tank that I'm using, and their magic stats, this is decent, I could then sort of shift the skills over towards that.
So there's like a large variety of like customizable options that you can go.
Yeah, and like the more I play, and it's somewhat genius how they did this. The more I play this, the more I see like how like certain monsters I may be using wrong, or just my whole like my strategy for this game has sort of like shifted over the past couple of hours. So like I said, it's 3v3, so I pretty much told myself, all right, if this was like 12-year-old me, I would have attacker,
right,
all attacking moves. But grown up me, tactical me is like, no, I want a healer, I want a tank, and I want a DPS. So that's all on you. You don't have to play it that way. You could really you could play it however you want. And what's crazy is that I feel like each style is somewhat viable to a certain point. And the reason I say that is because eventually you'll come across other trainers that you actually have to fight. So the first part of this game, where the tutorial, you're just fighting monsters in the wild, which there's it's not like old school Pokemon where like it's like random encounters. You actually see like the monsters in the area, and once you touch them, that's when it goes straight into the battle. So like that's it's cool seeing that. And it's like you're not being shifted into like another like arena. It's literally using like the area that you're in and it's initiating a battle. So battling the monsters, like you think that, okay, I'm the shit, I know what I'm doing, but your first trainer battle sort of shows you that no, like there's a lot of depth to this game. And I think the person, like the trainer that I went against, they had like, I think they had like 2 or 3 monsters that were putting status effects on my people. So you can burn people, you can poison them, and like so far those are the 2 that like when you burn, you take damage. If you're poisoned, you take damage every time it's your turn. And when I say like he stacked it up where everyone was burned, everyone was poisoned, and the monsters that he was using had a special ability where like normally if you burn someone, you can only put 1 stack on. This guy had like 3 stacks of poison, and like it got intense. I was like, I almost thought I was gonna lose, but like I said, because I had like a balanced team, and I pretty much had a monster that essentially every turn just used them to like put up shields for me.
Right.
Like I was like, all right, I'm just gonna play the long game, which sounds cool to like some people. I know some people play Pokemon and they're like, oh, that sounds stupid, that's whack. Hey, listen, my Crobat will like sort of like just bleed you out. But it's something like that in this game can't happen in trainer battles because there's a mechanic where after like 5-ish turns, there's a mechanic that kicks in called, I think that it's like an affinity effect where your monster will start hitting harder every turn. So that's sort of
Due to what? Like just because
it's a feature where like they don't want people to be in a, like they don't want like they don't want stonewalling. They don't want
okay.
you to like build up a wall where you can't be taken down.
And this is based off of like your friendship with the monsters.
No, this is just in trainer battles where they don't want people to cheese. They don't want people building up their defense so high or like they want battles to like eventually finish.
To beat battles.
Exactly. So I think that is a really interesting mechanic that I hope we see in Pokemon at some point because that's definitely a strategy in Pokemon is to just stall people out. So that's a nice change of pace. And so like after like going against this trainer, seeing that, I was like, damn, like maybe I should sort of change up what I'm doing. So like at that point, I started changing in and out monsters, and of course, the quality of life thing of playing a monster collecting game and not having to like just use one person and then like swap them out so that the other person can get experience. Like I've always hated that. So like these newer Pokemon games that have the experience share, that's in this game. So the 6 monsters that you have, like they're all gaining experience at the same time. And any monsters that you get past that, you'll see at the bottom of your menu. And like pretty much at any time outside of a battle, you can swap monsters. So like all of that's right there. You can swap monsters in trainer battles. So like I said, it's normally 3v3. And like you can do it in regular monster battles too, but like it's 3v3 and then like you can swap between like your 6 people. So it's fun. Like this is the type of stuff that I like seeing. And then when you're in the overworld, like let's get to that. Like I said, this is like a Metroidvania type game. So each monster that you have will have a overworld ability. So one monster might be able to cut vines or set vines on fire. So another monster might be able to like swipe in the like just do an attack where like if there's something destructible in front of them, it'll break. I've gotten a monster where like I could ride on it, so like my movement speed is higher. Another monster that helps me sort of like hover for a little bit so I can like cross gaps. So pretty much like what we've seen in like overworld abilities or overworld items and TMs, they essentially do that with like these abilities, these explore abilities. So that's covered, and like you have like your items that you'll get as a trainer, and it'll give you like extra stuff. So like I think after like the training area, they give you like a double jump. So like because of you getting that double jump, now that opens up other areas for you. So you can sort of see while you're going through the story, you're getting access to new monsters who have these explore abilities, and then you're also getting items that like allow you to get in certain types of water. Like I said, the double jump, and I like this. Like I feel like it's like a progression where like I sort of like Metroidvanias. Like it's a really interesting combination between the two genres.
I have good news for you. The past few years have been rife with Metroidvanias.
Exactly,
Yes.
and that's what I've been like learning is that these Metroidvanias are like out here, so I sort of have to like find them and play them. But this was a game that I was not expecting on like giving this much time to, like at all.
That's a nice surprise.
Yeah.
Like I said, like I downloaded this off of Game Pass off of a whim. Like I had no idea what it was. I was like, oh, Monster Sanctuary, download. Let's see what this is about.
Literally nothing. All right.
Yeah, and know what's cool? I like doing that with my media. I like doing that with
Yep.
games. I like doing that with movies. Just jumping straight into something.
Yep.
Like Rod, you're the type of person. You're a madman. You avoid trailers. You avoid like internet discussions, and I for Marvel like that's what messes me up sometimes. So like WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier, like fuck Twitter, fuck you guys, because the discussions we've had on Twitter about like seeing certain characters and like them not showing up, like it's annoying. So being able to jump into something and have like no prior knowledge of it, it's amazing.
Beautiful.
It's so
beautiful.
Good. I just did that with Cruella. Like I heard Cruella came out, and me and my girlfriend wanted to see it, so I was like, all right, Disney Plus, you fucking finally got me. We'll watch this movie. And I didn't watch any trailers. I just saw the picture of what's the actress's name? Emma Stone. And I was like, I like Emma Stone. I like her movies. So this should be a decent watch. And I sort of side railed, but I'm saying all that to say Cruella's fun. Cruella's fun, and Monster Sanctuary was like it was something that I wasn't expecting on liking. So like if you're gonna take like a blind, like if I guess our audio listeners, since you're not seeing any of this, like just jump, like try if anything I said sounded fun, try it out. Yeah. It's on Game Pass, so if you have access to that, get it on that. Like I said, it's on PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, and PC for $20. I like this game so much. I was like, I know I have it on Game Pass, and I know I could like pull up my save file from the xCloud. I know I could do all that, but I like these developers so much. I want to support them. I went ahead and bought it on Switch, and here's the thing. Will I play it on Switch? At some point, yes. But I like this game so much, I felt inclined. I had to buy it, and I think that's the wonder of Game Pass. Because not only did they get the money of like them being on Game Pass, they also got me to buy it for another system.
I don't think that there's like a higher recommendation that you could give. Like at that point, you spent money on something you literally didn't have to spend money on. So
it's a pretty solid choice.
Yep.
Yeah. So and I think I am maybe I feel like 10-ish hours into this game. Okay. So like this, I feel like the story is somewhat like at that point where they're like introducing the main villains, or like they're setting up all that stuff. So I honestly feel like I still have like a little ways to go. Level wise, I think my monster is just now hitting level 20. So the max I think right now is 40, and like that's sort of like where you stop getting abilities is 40. So I don't know like where the cap is. Mm-hmm. But like I'm enjoying my time. Like the other two games I'm gonna talk about, like I was expecting me to play these games more than I played this game.
Right.
And I'm probably, after getting off the show, I'm probably gonna play this.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. So, you guys have any questions or any any comments about? I feel like I sort of gushed about this game for the last like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I've seen you playing it like on Xbox every now and then on the friends list, and it prompted me to check it out too. Not like play it yet, but I did like go to the store page. I was like, what is this game that Chris is always playing?
Oh, damn.
But I mean, it was cool because I was like, oh, okay. It was neat because you have some like really cool indie finds. Like I find like the longer that I've known you and like we've been doing this, you branch out more and more. I feel like every year. Not that like I've ever thought that you've never been a I don't know. Yeah. Like you've never had your taste.
You just said jabroni.
No.
One
trick pony.
No.
I was like, God damn, you just called me a jabroni.
You've never had a jabroni either, Chris.
No. No, I'm saying like your tastes have never been like confined or boxed in. Like you've always, I feel been willing to like go out and try a lot of these things. And so when I saw you playing that, I was like, oh, okay, this might like the pixel art looks cool, and the concept was interesting. It looked like Pokemon to me, kind of in some ways. So yeah, I mean, judging from everything that you said today, I will probably. I mean, what am I have? I have nothing to lose. Like I can just download this on Game Pass real quick, and check this out. So I'm definitely interested. You kind of convinced me that this is worth a look.
And then according to How Long to Beat, it takes on average about 28 hours to complete. So once again, like that's like the sweet spot for games like this.
Okay,
right.
Wait, just enough. Did you say 28?
Yeah, 28.
That's the sweet spot you said? 28?
For like monster collecting and like RPGs.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. For RPG.
Yes.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Because I was like, oh shit, that's like the top end for me. But no, I mean, if I'm engrossed in the game enough, I mean, I just put 50 hours into Persona 5 Strikers. So like, I mean, granted, it took me like 3 months, but like, yeah, at the end of that, I was like, okay, all right, cool. Yakuza 7, 50 hours, sure. Why not? Monster Sanctuary, let's see where it takes us, man. Let's see.
And listen, we're like this year where it's I mean, y'all, like as much as people don't like acknowledge the pandemic, we're in a pandemic. So like these game delays, like it's happening.
Get comfortable.
Yeah, bro.
Please like get comfortable, like start trying different games. Like there are so many services now where not like if you're a gamer, like I understand this is like, it's an expensive hobby. We have to be upfront about that. But like with these services like Game Pass, GameFly, PlayStation Now, like the EA stuff, like there's so many services now where if you wanted to try different games or like use a service, you could do that now. You really don't have to like buy games anymore. Like my Xbox One, honestly, my Xbox Series X is exclusively like me just buying stuff on or downloading stuff on Game Pass.
For game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have not bought a single game yet on Xbox yet. I probably will at some point, but it hasn't happened yet.
I bought like Devil May Cry and Valhalla. That's about it. Everything else is Game
Nice.
Pass.
Okay, I almost bought the Splinter Cell trilogy that was on sale for like $2 or something. I should have. I'm kind of kicking myself now, but
Yeah,
I will do that next time.
Oh, it was $2.
It was like
Ubisoft.
$2 or $3 for like for each of them. Yeah, it was an insane sale. I should have
It'll
done
be on
that.
sale
But
again. Like
yeah,
this
it's.
week.
I'm sure. Yeah, Game Pass. I mean, we say it all the time. Like, it's definitely a great value for stuff like this specifically. Like these small titles that don't get shine like anywhere else. Like that, this is perfect for it.
Yeah. So speaking about Game Pass, my next game, once again, is a game that we talked about last week, Knockout City,
Yep.
and your boy's getting better. I posted the video of me getting hit by the train. I think after we got off last week, and then I was like, you know what, like let me like this game is fun enough. Let me like really jump in and like really like get better. And I did that. Like I spent like an evening like just doing regular matches, and I was like, oh, let me jump into ranked. Did that for a little bit. So like I think I'm still in bronze, but and like I haven't played it in a couple days because of Monster Sanctuary, but like just the progression of seeing how people are getting better. Like you have to get better if you want to if you want to like get further in this game. Like you have to sort of see what people are doing or what they're not doing, or just like things that you're weak at, like just getting better at. So catching the dodgeballs, I've been getting better at. Sort of changing up my throws, passing. Like I've always been a passer in games like this, so like passing the ball more. Getting my teammate to turn into a ball, because that's something that's happening a lot in ranked. Is like if you do that, if you throw a teammate or if you throw a player that turned into a ball, it's a one hit kill.
One to kill. Yep.
So it's really high risk, because if you throw your teammate and that person catches your teammate, they can throw him back at you, and with them catching it, if it's a perfect catch, they're throwing it back at you even faster. So that's actually a mechanic in this game, is that once you start playing higher level, like people are catching these dodgeballs. So if both people are catching it back and forth, it's getting faster and faster each time they're catching it, and eventually, like it's just at that point, it's really a team game, because while you're distracted going back and forth with that person, another teammate could come in and like throw another ball at you.
Yeah. I have not played ranked yet. I'm looking forward to doing that at some point. I'm a little wary to do it on my own, so I want to go in with somebody.
So we definitely have to set that up, because I played ranked up until the point where I realized, hey, I'm running into the same issues that James was running into.
That
So-
connection was not.
It's not good.
See?
Like, that night that we played together was the best connection I've had, like, playing this game.
Wow.
Because
Same, man.
because since then, especially like at doing rank for a little bit, I get upset because like if I miss a ball or if if someone hits me and I know that I messed up, I'm like, all right, I have to get better. But
Right.
when I'm teleporting in a ranked match, no, like that's unacceptable.
Yeah.
So, and then especially like with ranked, you want to be able to communicate with your teammates. Like communication in this game is key. So, I definitely want to do it with teammates. So yeah, like please let me know when you want to do this because I do want to jump into ranked more. And I think this first season has like another 50 days left.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
Yeah.
They just put out a new playlist, I think, or something.
Yeah.
I think this week. So I haven't looked at it yet. I haven't logged in like a couple days, but I do want to get together and do some ranks. That would be really fun. I think it is worthy. I think it is worthy to mention real quick that they seemingly are kind of paying attention to some of the free to play feedback, and so now it is free to play for up to level 25,
Which is
cool.
fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because honestly, at that point, that just means you're missing out on cosmetics.
Exactly.
Because you're still able to do like ranked and everything, right?
I think so. Yeah.
And then I guess at that point you're only locked into doing like the 3v3. Because I think the other playlist, if you're doing like the free thing, like it was only locked on like a certain playlist, right?
Oh, I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, other playlists, the other match types are okay. Like the other match type is the same 3v3, but there's no dodgeballs. You have to use your teammates. And then I think in the other game mode that they did last week was there's no regular dodgeballs; they're all the special balls. And then
Interesting.
And then in ranked, the other mode that they had was 1v1, which 1v1 is, I think, it's really important to do if you're trying to get better at this game.
Yeah.
Because honestly, like even in 3v3, you're most of the time doing 1v1s unless you're playing teams that are actually like playing with each other. But I think at the core, getting better 1v1 will lead you into getting better at the 3v3 because you'll be able to catch people off guard when there's other people. But like when it's just you and another person, I'm feeling that since I spent some time in that playlist, I've sort of like swapped up like different throw types. I've sort of just learned how to take my time because timing is key in this game. If you throw someone off by like pump faking and they're sort of just standing there and then like while you're still standing there charging up the ball, you can get people that way. You can be super aggressive, and as soon as like they're locking into you, like I heavily utilize the dash. I am never standing still. I think I'm too aggressive where like if someone has a ball and they're aiming at me, I'm dashing towards them to knock the ball out their hand.
Huh.
Yeah.
So this game is just fun. Like
It's
I need to
fun.
I think we should do maybe like a community night because I know there's like you could do private matches. We could do that with people. Because I know a couple of people on Facebook that like when I started posting videos, they're like one person like never heard of the game at all, so they were happy that like I posted it because
Nice.
just like the art style is like it's fun. Like this is like a interesting art style for this game, and like just the customization they see some people have. Of course, not saying that that's like game like the game breaker or whatever, but like it's I feel like it's entertaining to watch. Like it's a good looking game to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, like I think mechanically, especially, like it's fascinating. They just had that esports tournament the other weekend. And
It
that
was
was-
actually really interesting.
yeah,
Just to see like tactics, and how
Exactly.
people are diversifying their shots and that kind of stuff. Yeah,
yeah.
pick up a lot from a
This is a
week.
cool game.
Yeah,
we
so,
need to play.
I mean, so have any of y'all played? I mean, in this past week?
Not since we played.
Yeah, I have. I played so a little bit solo and also with some other friends, some separate friends actually, like on multiple different occasions. So it seems like the player base seems healthy, and I'm liking it. I'm mostly sticking to the 3v3 kind of like unranked mode. Again, I haven't gone into the ranked version yet, but I am looking forward to playing with you guys again, so we can do like crew battles and ranked stuff. So yeah, I think that'll be cool. Still liking this game a hell of a lot.
Yeah, and this is definitely be a game that I want to keep in my rotation, especially with it having like cross play and cross progression. Like,
Yep.
thank you so much. Thank you. Like, who I know EA's publishing it, but who's who are the developers?
Velan?
Studio. Yeah, Velan
Yeah.
Studios. Shout out to them for not only making this game, but also listening to the community. Doing that free to play up to level 25 thing. Like that's a great gesture. That's really good. I think that's great. That's gonna be great for the community.
It is. I actually bought it. I bought it. So I wanted to support, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I really like this game a lot, and it's probably gonna be in my rotation regularly. So
What I did, I bought the like whatever the deluxe upgrade was on Xbox. So it's like since we already had it through Game Pass, I was like, I'll just pay the. I think it was like
$10.
like if you're just doing the, I think the update was like the upgrade was like $7 for me.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah. So definitely having a good time with that. Like I said, y'all, if you want to play, follow us, follow me, social media, hit me up, and let's set some games up. Because I definitely want to play this with you guys. So my last game that I've played this last week, May was Mental Health Awareness Month. So, I've talked about Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. I've talked about it on That's Unfortunate before, and I've dabbled in this game, as in like watched one of my older roommates play some of this game, and I was like, this game always looked interesting to me. Looked interesting. It even back when it came out, like the aesthetics, like how the game looked was like it's a gorgeous game, and like even now with the Series X upgrade, the PlayStation 5 upgrade, this game, goddamn, looks really good. It looks amazing on Series X. So if you don't know, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice is it's like a dark fantasy action adventure game published by Ninja Theory. You might say one of the last good games that they made. I know a lot of people didn't like DMC. A lot of people didn't like Bleeding Edge, but
Didn't they make Heavenly Sword, or is that someone else?
yeah, they made Heavenly Sword. They
Okay.
made Enslaved.
I
they-
liked Enslaved. That was alright.
This came out after that.
Yeah. This came out after that, so this is like one of their their newer franchises, and of course they're working on the second game. So, like I said, because of like the Mental Health Awareness Month, that is like the thing on the back of the box. Like this game is about mental health. It's about and I think this game does a really good job of like, I feel like I haven't played another game that puts you in the body of the person. It's like to the point where like I'm not sure if this is how Psychosis feels, but it's intense. I never want to experience this in real life because this game, a lot of games will say, oh, this game is it's recommended that you play this with headphones. Like you see that a lot, and some games I'm like, all right, I'll do that just to see what it's like, and it's a good experience. I feel like this game, Hellblade, you have to play with headphones. Mm-hmm. You have to play in the dark, and if you have next gen, play it on the performance mode, because with it being on Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, like pretty much everything got updated. So like, they had 3 modes. They had performance, they had resolution, and had like some other mode. With the upgrades that it got, pretty much all 3 of those modes give you 4K. So at that point, you might as well get the 60 frames as well. And just, it looks really good. The performance is great. The motion capture is crazy. So, geez, yeah, like I'm maybe like maybe like 2 hours into this game, and like I said, playing this game with headphones, hearing like the voices that Senua's like, that's battling in her head, like they're there. And if you're using like, some good headphones, like at some point, like I felt like someone was like whispering behind me the whole time.
I just have a brief comment really on this game. So like, I actually haven't played this yet. I'm curious to do so. I actually really want to play. This is like one, if I had to compile a list of like top 10 Game Pass games that I'm like trying to get to or I would like to get to, this is definitely high up on that list. One of the things that kind of worries me a little bit is that, you know, and again, this is without me having played it yet, but you know, you always, I feel like when you make a game about mental health or anything that's serious, you have to always, I feel like, kind of tread a line in a way because you run the risk of like kind of gamifying serious issues or serious topics or like trivializing them even if you don't intend to, even if you want to you know, bring, you know, shed light on a particular topic. You know, and I'm curious, and it sounds like you've gone through the game before, right? Like this isn't your first.
So not even saying like I played through it, but it's more or less like I was in my roommate's room and he was playing it. I was like, oh, this game looks pretty cool.
Okay. So far, and it doesn't sound, it sounds like it actually handles it pretty well, which is nice to hear. But I just wanted to make that comment just because like that's something I always think about when I hear something like this, like a game that handles like serious subject matter like this. You know, you even mentioning like, you know, voices like kind of playing in your head, things like that. There's always a risk, I feel like, of trivializing something like that. So as long as it's taken seriously, I think that that's really cool.
Yeah. So and this is something that like as soon as like you jump into the game, like they don't really explain anything. Like you get everything through the narrative. So like
Right.
the whole reason why like she's on like this journey, like I said, like you're just getting through like what characters are like, you know, saying to you, and like and it's more or less like these like spirits and stuff that she's interacting with.
Right.
And it like this, you know how some games like when you're talking about it, you know, you'll talk about the story, you talk about gameplay separate, and then you'll talk about sound design separate. This is the game where like you can't talk about any of these without bringing up one of the other things. Like everything sort of meshes in together. And then like it's a, you know, it's a, I think at one point I read an article and this is like years ago when like it came out, and like someone like wanted to say, oh, it's like a walking simulator meets like another type of game. No, this isn't like you're doing a lot of walking, but then there are like segments where like, you know, the psychosis kicks in, more voices show up, and like you're starting to see like a bunch of like crazy things, and like you're seeing things in their environment. So I like to me, like I feel like I can only play so much of this game before like I have to sort of unplug myself out, because like I said, like all of the voices that you hear, like especially during combat, while you're fighting, you know, you'll hear some voices, you know, doubting your, you know, your abilities, making fun of you, or they're rooting you on, like, and it's all at the same time. So it gets pretty intense during like actual combat encounters, because that's, you know, that's also in this game, which, you know, you have the option, of course, like hitting start and like seeing like, you know, the buttons, which, you know, me, as long as subtitles are on, I'm good. So I sort of jumped into the game, and once I was jumped into like the actual combat into the game, it doesn't explain that to you. Like it's like, yo, there's an enemy swinging at you right now. Fight back.
And that's it.
Yeah, I mean, unless I like completely like just skipped it. I actually no, we have it on screen right now. Where like I think this is like the first combat encounter, and yeah, like the enemy just swings at you. So at that point, I was like, all right, this is my light attack, this is my heavy attack, this is my dodge. Eventually, I hit start, and I was like, oh, these are the other buttons. So like apparently there's a block too, but like it's interesting. Like the enemies during the combat encounter, it's typically about 3 or more enemies that you're fighting, but you're fighting them all at the same time. So you know, if you're focusing on one person, you know, you'll have 2 other people also there too, and you know, there's a chance that they might sneak up on you, and that also sort of goes back into like these voices that Senua hears. So you know, while you're fighting, you know, the voices are like, oh, you suck, oh, you're about to die, and then like you have that one voice that's like, hey, yo, you're surrounded, look out, hey, this person's behind you, watch out. So just having to like battle with all that all at the same time, like it's a different experience. I can see why
For sure.
this game won so many awards. you know, this
Oh,
this this is one of those games like when you look at like the landing page for it and you see like it's like, you know, it's won so many awards for different things.
Yeah.
I can see it. I can see
Yeah.
it.
I'm looking forward to checking this out at some point. I want to do that soon. Definitely before the next game comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
gotta do that.
and you know this game like with the aesthetic sort of leans into like the whole Viking thing, which I think at
Right.
some point I've said this on the show. I don't really care about the Viking stuff. It's not. I mean, these people pillaged and raped villages. Like I don't. Okay, that's cool. But it's never been like a aesthetic that I really cared for. But
Right.
just, you know, the whole like mental health aspect and like so I guess that's the hook that sort of got me to be like, this is pretty interesting. And then of course like all this Norse mythology is being thrown in. So like I'm you know learning about that stuff too. So
Yeah.
it's cool. This is a cool game. This is something that you know, it should only take 7 to 9 hours to beat. So that's perfect for me. I feel like
Yeah,
I
it's
could
perfect.
I feel like I could honestly maybe knock this out by the end of the week. And like, you know, I guess give like my full like, you know,
Yeah.
you know, thumbs up, thumbs down. But like
Oh, okay.
so far, thumbs up, guys. This is a great game.
Nice.
It's on Game Pass. What else do I got? Do I need to say more?
Got it, man.
I mean, I'm pretty sold, so I think we're good.
Yeah. All right. So, Elena, are you still here? You good?
I am here.
My bad. My segment lasted so long. I don't know. I played some really good games this last week.
I love it. When you play some great games and you decide to gush about them, it's the best. So keep that up.
Well, my connection has been dropping, so I'm like muted because I can see your cams going to like 144p, and I'm like, oh shit, it's probably my connection because I got shitty Wi-Fi internet and I don't have fiber. So
Damn.
Yeah,
good.
Dang.
Shots.
So let's jump
shots
into.
to my internet being shitty. Yes.
Hey, shout out to that Fisher Price.
Oh my god.
So let's jump into the news this week. News is pretty light this week. I mean, light as in there was a bunch of gaming streams. I felt
Yep.
like, you know, everyone was like, hey, this week let's like put out some information that could have been sent in an email. But we'll get to that. Let's
man.
let's start it off with Horizon 2. Horizon 2 was shown off this week at was this a state of play? Yeah. So Horizon 2, it's, you know, cross-platform, or I mean, it's cross-generation.
Cross-gen, yeah.
It's so is this isn't like a full-fledged sequel, is it, or is it Horizon 2?
Oh no, this is
No,
this
it's
is
a
Horizon
sequel.
Sequel.
Oh,
It's a sequel.
See,
Okay.
the fact that you can't tell, I think, is the problem. I mean, like technically, this game looks awesome. Like on a graphical level, it looks really, really good. It looks
Really
stunning,
good.
honestly. That is what I think kind of shocked me the most. Is, I mean, not necessarily shocked, but for a cross-gen title, I think it looks really great. I guess we'll have to see like just how pared down it is, just in terms of scope when it comes out. Just because, or we see more of it, because it's got to run on a PS4. So
I'm not playing it on PS4. No way.
well,
I will wait
Well-
2 years till I get a PS5 to
definitely
play that game.
I agree. But the scope though of the game has to fit the PS4. So even if you're going to play it on a PlayStation 5, like there's only so much that they're going to be able to do in scope and spec for, because they have to consider the PS4 machine in architecture. So
Yep.
just like with Destiny 1 and that issue, like Bungie has talked about how like their vision had to get cut down significantly because they could not use the next gen machines at that point. Like I feel like, you know, same thing with Halo coming out. That's one reason why we really don't care about the cross gen capabilities, like as the consumer. But I mean, you can't take it away. No matter what you can say, what else we're going to say about the Horizon 2 trailer, like it looks good. Like visually, it looks great.
So I just want to. Well, I mean, I guess that's like from my perspective, like looking, I guess, down to like the, you know, PS4 and Xbox One, like these games that, like, that have like these PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X like quote unquote upgrades. I like the past couple of games that I've played. I'm like, yo, this game, like, I know it's not next gen, but like it feels like we're inching towards that. So like this game, like I said, Hellblade that I'm playing now, like these games are like, even though we're saying, you know, oh, it's not to its full capability, these games still look really good.
Yeah, yeah. I can't say anything negative visually. Like just Ratchet. Well, I can't say Ratchet. Ratchet's a full blown PS5.
So all right, so look at the gameplay of Horizon 2, and like how sharp that looks. Because obviously, yeah, it's running on PS5. But when you look at this, and then you put this sort of like side to side to Ratchet and Clank, which is like Ratchet and Clank is strictly PS5, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Unless you're specifically trained and looking at like texture stuff, to the normal person, these games look similar. They both look really good.
Yeah.
I would say so.
Yeah. I just the like structurally, like what Ratchet is doing can't be achieved on a PS4.
Yeah.
Like in terms of the rift, the jumping, the practically no loading, like or instantaneous loading, I should say, like that type of thing. But we're not really seeing that. What we're seeing at the State of Play last week was like a very controlled vertical slice of this game, you know, which I also thought was an interesting choice too, because like I kind of want to know more about like, okay, so is it going to be structured pretty much like the first game where it's like this open world hub and there's a bunch of shit on my screen I need to go clear? Like is that the structure? My guess is that yes, it is the same game, because I got no indication that like they're really doing anything out of the ordinary for this, like outside of the vertical combat and like the Street Fighter-esque sequence that she did, which I thought was fucking hilarious. I mean, I thought it looked cool. It was cool, but I totally thought Chun-Li when I saw
What do
that.
you mean she popped her ultimate?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, quite literally. Yeah, she popped her ult. And I mean, but I mean, that's kind of what I came away from this with. Not negativity, but just like, all right, that was Horizon. That was another Horizon.
Here's my question. So like in this gameplay sequence, you see her running away from like the mech dinosaurs, right?
Yep.
Like, so if I'm playing, am I being forced to like do I have to run, or is this like an on rail sequence? Because the game really doesn't have like any indication of like where to run to.
It struck me as an on rail sequence to me.
Okay.
But I mean, they didn't say, there was no like commentary saying that you could chase the dinosaurs or you could let them pass. Like we don't really know how varied the missions are. And Horizon was pretty, I would say, like strict in terms of its mission structure. Like it was always very clear, like what should be happening pretty much at all times. There wasn't a lot of dynamicism. I can't talk tonight. Dynamicism between like all of the different missions that you could do, different ways that you could take down a dinosaur, like a T-Rex, for instance. But and the game doesn't tell you, you have to go for the legs first or the belly or whatever. You could choose to do that in whatever order. But there was not a lot of like Uncharted style sequence events, and if there were, it was very clear what to do next. So I didn't really get the sense that this was very different.
Yeah, like because I was looking at the sequence, and go ahead.
Isn't this the first time you're fighting other humans too? Because I don't remember fighting humans in the first one.
Yeah, you fought humans.
Yeah, you fought humans. Yeah.
Oh, I guess I don't remember then.
But I mean, it's I don't know, like that sequence that they show off. I was like, man, this looks really good. But like, knowing me, I would try and fight the dinosaurs. So I don't know.
But you totally probably could do that.
Yeah.
But the game looks good. The game looks great. And
fine,
you know, do we have like a date for this yet?
Nope. We have no date for this. No date. I was totally expecting it, not even if it wasn't going to be a specific date, at least like fall 2021, holiday 2021, something. Because I was pretty confident this was hitting this year. I was like, yeah, this is probably coming. But now I have no idea. And they just put out a statement a couple days ago, or yet today, or something like that.
No, it was today.
Saying Herman Helst said that it is not set in stone. They are working on it right now. Development is going well, but things could change. So that did not seem to inspire confidence in me.
Mm.
Um, so I don't know what's happening.
I don't know. I mean, like we said before, like these delays and stuff like that. Like this is what we have to deal with. So we'll eventually get this game.
Yep.
When we don't know, but it's coming. It's like there's like a shortage of games to play either. So.
Right. Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
so true.
And
So-
I don't understand people's like disappointment either. Like it's gonna come out sooner or later. Like you're just gonna have to get used to it. It's been over a year that we've heard so many games get delayed because of the pandemic. It's just people's expectations are set way too high, and they just need to bring them down for release date wise.
Is it the disappointment with like the game itself, or the fact that they don't have a date on it?
They don't have a date on it yet.
No. Yeah, I generally agree with you. I mean, I do understand that people bought these machines like 8 months ago or whatever, and like they just people want things to play on it because there's not really a lot right now to play. But I do agree with you. Like COVID fucked a lot of this up.
And even fucked up making PS5s and Xbox Series S's. That's why we're seeing a continuation of cross-gen games, just because there's such a shortage on everything that they're gonna have to ask some teams like, hey, can this game run on the previous gen? And if they say yes, then they can.
Yeah.
So some I'm like, I don't want to say I did research, but like just in the random scope of like just me being on the internet, I sort of like read up on what's going on with these shortages, and it's not like, oh, they're just not making. Well, I mean, of course they're not making enough systems, but the reason behind that is that these like these chips, like these superconductors,
Yep.
there's just a shortage of those, like these
Yep.
like singular parts that you have like this beast of a machine, but like without like a chip, pretty much a lot of this stuff won't work. So there's a shortage of that, and it's like, oh, at that point you're like, oh, just make more of them. Well, no, because these chips take like I think up to like 6 months to produce. I've read.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
yeah, like the more advanced that these the tech is getting, it's it takes a while to put all these parts on like a single chip. So after hearing that, I was like, damn, I guess that it makes sense. It's not like Sony sitting on their ass. No, it's they
Yeah, they have them stored in warehouses, and they're just kind of putting them out.
Yeah, so like but you hear that. You hear like, oh, Nintendo and Sony, like they're intentionally holding these systems in the warehouses.
No.
No. Why would they not want to make money?
Yeah,
Oh, man.
that's
I've
so
seen Nintendo do
stupid.
it before.
Yeah, the industry
True.
essentially lost the year, and we're probably not going to really see anything super substantial until 2022. I'm sure there's something coming, like at the end of this year. Like we'll get maybe a few things, but a lot of things are getting pushed even further back. So we're seeing quite a bit of that.
Yeah. So let's shout out these other games that had streams this last week. There was Dragon Quest. So any Dragon Quest fans here?
Not hardcore really, but like I like to listen to the music sometimes. I like the trailer music. The Dragon Quest Builders dude, if you've ever heard that guy talk about Dragon Quest Builders in a trailer, is amazing. He's so exuberant about Dragon Quest Builders. It makes me want to play that game quite a bit. Yeah, Dragon Quest is cool.
I know Japan loves Dragon Quest more than they love Pokemon. That's for sure.
Really?
Oh yeah, Dragon Quest is huge in Japan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
people
got its
like-
all
own.
off work and stuff.
Yeah, it's like got its
Yeah.
own day.
Someone compared like the viewership between the Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remake to Dragon Quest Builders, and it didn't even like I think Dragon Quest was like double of the Pokemon views for Japan. Something like that.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say I'm gonna shut my mouth because I was gonna be like, oh, I don't care, but
I mean, Dragon Quest had 2 things come out. I thought that were pretty substantial. Number one is Dragon Quest 12. which is going to be in a quote unquote adult envisioning of Dragon Quest. Don't know what that means, but okay. I'm
Dragon Quest with guns.
I mean, shit.
I
At
like
this
it.
at this point, who knows? Like maybe. I mean, it damn near could be because the trailer for it was like this minute-long thing where it was like just totally in the dark, and the Dragon Quest logo comes up and it's like inflamed with X11, like the Roman numerals of 12, and it was just I don't know. It was like yes, indeed, dark. So, but I don't know what mature Dragon Quest looks like. Slimes with guns.
Was that towards the end? Because I'm gonna try and put, because like when you were saying that, like that was not what was on the screen. That was like
Oh.
it was a bunch of like Dragon Quest toys fighting each other. It looked like.
Oh, weird. Okay, I don't know what that is. So that was the one. The other big announcement was a remake of, I think it was Dragon Quest 3.
Yeah. that's great.
Yes.
And it's in the vein of Octopath Traveler. So if you like that sort of visual style of like the pixel art mixed with like 3D backgrounds, that is what they're doing here, which actually looks really really cool. So I'm actually interested in that one for sure.
Yeah. You know what game needs that treatment? Final Fantasy VI. If they remake Final Fantasy VI in like the Octopath Traveler engine,
Yeah.
oh boy, day one.
Yeah.
That was day one for me. But yeah, so I mean, I'm not like super big on Dragon Quest, but I guess it's something to play. I'll try it out.
There you
And
go.
and I mean, I'm always open to trying new games. Like, you know, Dragon Quest Builders, that's always been something that I've said at some point I want to play this, and I think it's on Game Pass. So
It is on Game Pass, yeah.
There we
Dragon
go.
Have you
Quest
seen-
Builders and 11 is on Game Pass.
Have you seen the Abomination Dragon Quest Nintendo Switch like game controller?
Mm-mm.
Oh, the one shaped like a slime?
Yeah, it's a slime, and then you flip it upside down, and the controls are right there. It's really weird looking. It looks uncomfortable to hold.
Yeah, not ergonomic at all.
Nope.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I'm good. Far Cry
else we got?
6. Far Cry 6 had a gameplay reveal live stream a couple days ago, and it's more Far Cry 6, guys.
Don't worry, they're not making a political statement about Cuba.
Oh my god.
Don't worry.
Yeah, he had to like
I wasn't-
instantly. He had to walk that back like a day later. He's like, "Oh yeah, I am a dumbass. I shouldn't have said that." It's Ubisoft doing Ubisoft things, of course.
Yeah.
Making stupid statements, doing dumb things. But yeah, I agree with you, Chris. Like this looks like more Far Cry, which again is not bad. Like it's like how I felt about Horizon 2. It's like it's not bad.
It's not bad.
It doesn't look bad. It's just
Right.
more Far Cry. Although I think in this case it might be a little worse because Horizon only has one game in it, and Far Cry for the last like 3 games has done the same thing just about. So there might be a little more criticism deserved in that direction, but I mean,
I feel like Far Cry has tried to like add new things to the game. So
really? Okay.
like they added like a I don't know, like a level builder type of thing in some of like, I don't know if this was this in the spinoff
I don't
Which
remember
one?
that at all.
where like you could create like a level, like set up like where things are, set up where enemies are. I think it was in the spinoff game, but
Are you sure that wasn't like a fever dream or something that you?
I mean, maybe
The only spin-off game I can think of is Far Cry Primal, right?
not Primals.
No,
Blood
Blood
Dragon?
Dragon. Blood Dragon. That was
No.
great.
What was the one where like the two twins? You're fighting the two twins, and it takes
Oh,
place
the most
after.
recent one off of 5.
Yeah, the
Oh.
spin-off off of that.
I didn't play any of
Far
that.
Cry.
Oh, there was a map
New Dawn?
editor.
No.
New Dawn, I think, something like that. It's something Dawn, Red Dawn, Purple Dawn.
I don't think it was Red Dawn. That's a book. Isn't
Yeah.
it?
No.
Yeah, I believe it's a book and a movie. I think.
I mean, here's the thing: Far Cry, Far Cry 6 is gonna happen. I can guarantee you that, with Ubisoft saying that they're gonna do like the whole free-to-play thing, this is one of the franchises they're gonna milk. We're gonna see. I feel like we're gonna see a free-to-play multiplayer Far Cry game. The way to see is like we said this
Battle
last week,
Royale.
Battle Royale. I can see that happening because
No, I think they'll do that to Division first before they do that to Far Cry.
That's a good point.
Because that one's only multiplayer.
Yeah, and I think
And Far Cry is a single player game, for the most part.
single player co-op.
Yeah, co-op,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's a game that I'll play when it comes out. I'm not like counting down the days
Yeah.
for it. So
I think I'm kind of over Far Cry, to be honest. Like, unless they just completely transform like what they're doing. Like, getting Giancarlo Esposito is awesome, but like not enough to bring me into this game. It would probably take one of you guys to be like, "Hey, can you please play this with me or co-op this with me?" I might, and then I might consider it for half a second. But I don't know, man.
I haven't played since 4.
That's a good place to stop. It was a good game.
Yep.
You're good there.
yeah, so I don't know. We'll see more and we'll hear more from this. Another game that's sort of getting the same. Well, actually, no. I'm actually excited for this next game.
This one.
Dying Light 2 had a stream, and
Finally.
they've been consistent with giving us information about Dying Light 2. So shout out to that team for doing that. But yeah, what you guys think about this gameplay that we saw this past week?
I didn't see all of it. I know James definitely did, so I'm
Yes.
curious to hear what you guys have to say about that.
Yeah, James, what you think?
So I think the thing that I enjoyed the most about looking at the Dying Light 2 was that this feels like a real sequel. Not in the fact that you're just continuing on the story, but like all of the gameplay elements from the original Dying Light feel like they've been expanded upon. And in between like expanding out the world or the abilities or how you approach combat, even dealing with the whole zombie infection, like the gameplay hook in this case is that everyone is infected. And so you have to really manage that whole who's gonna become a zombie, is anybody gonna become a zombie? Like if you don't get your medicine in time, kind of like that was like Dead Rising.
Isn't that a reveal like at the end of that first game? Like you find out that everyone's been infected the whole time, and then if you die, am I thinking of a different zombie
It's been
mythos?
so many years, man. I don't
Okay,
remember.
sorry. I remember there being like a big reveal in that vein, and I'm like, oh, I didn't expect that turn in this game. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, that might be the case. You could be completely right. But it gave me that Dead Rising, like keep an eye on your Zombrex kind of thing. But the game just felt so alive. I feel they've taken a lot of time developing the sequel, and it shows. So I'm really excited for it personally. Combat looks fun, guns look fun, parkour looks refined and smooth. I'm excited.
I'm in the same boat.
I'm very excited for this as well. Oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
I was gonna say like I really enjoyed the first game, and like to the point where like I played it when it launched, and then like a couple years later, I think Rod, you picked it up, and you were looking for a co-op partner. I was like, oh, let me jump back in this game. I had a good time playing it, and when I say this is like the game, like just the experience was different because like they overhauled so many systems in that game. Like this is the team that like if something's not working in the game, like they have no problem like just like fixing it.
Right,
So like it's cool to see that they've gotten so much of a jump with the sequel where like just like you said, James, like this game like it looks like an actual sequel because they've built on so many systems that worked when they revamped Dying Light the first time. Because like fighting against the humans, like the humans were stupid when the game launched, and like they did this patch like halfway through the life cycle where like they fixed the AI, and like it was, to me, that second playthrough playing co-op with you, Rod, the game just felt different. I didn't like it. It's something where like I had to like sort of like sit back and like think, did I play this game the first time or was that a fever dream?
Right. Yeah. I just think this game is really impressive. Like the first one, it just blew me away. Like it sounded like such a cool concept. Techland kind of scared me away with Dead Island, but then brought me back instantly with this. And hearing you, James, say that like this one looks so refined and expanded, that's really all I want from my sequels. Like, bring back all the concepts by all means, but like, expand on some of those core ideas, because there were a few areas that I think Dying Light could improve on. Even though it is an exceptional game, it's fucking awesome. The fact that this looks like a fresh coat of paint, the mechanics look fresh. I love that the parkour looks seems smoother to me.
So smooth.
I'm really excited about this. Like probably more than reasonable, but like it looks awesome.
Yeah, this is the sequel I'm looking for. This is the one I want this year. Are we getting this year? Did we get a date?
I'm not sure.
I don't think this game is going to come out this year.
Fine.
That's my take.
I mean, it's been like 8 years. It
February
feels like.
2022 is my guess.
Oh, okay. I thought you had a number. Never mind. Let's see.
We'll get it. We'll get it. I feel like we'll get it eventually, and like it shows, like the developers have been showing off a lot over the past couple of months.
They have.
Good on them. Like I feel like this is they are on like the right track for this games that come out. So it'll come when it comes.
I'm seeing December. December 7th.
Oh, is that the official date?
That's what's on the website.
Okay.
So we'll see if that changes.
Yeah, I was
Probably
gonna
change.
I was gonna say at the same time though.
I'm telling you, February 2022 is gonna be my guess.
That's when we're getting the Oh, I almost said Cyberpunk.
What's that game?
Right, never mind. We'll see. Perhaps February we'll give it a shot. But I'm thinking December. It says December, so hopefully we'll get it this year.
Crossing my fingers. What else we got, Chris? We have redoing. We could probably skip that last one, right?
Oh dang! I at least wanted to shout it out.
Oh, okay,
Oh, yeah.
sure. You want to talk about the Sonic bling that they showed?
Oh, see, and I was trying to like fast forward to that part, but yeah. So there was a Sonic stream, showed off Sonic Colors, which is a really solid Sonic game.
Don't do that.
What?
That
It's
was a
solid-
good game,
it's a
Roddy.
really- it's a good game.
No. I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing at the fact that like this stream start. So first of all, the sick irony is that like it's the only one I watched live. No, I watched Horizon 2 live. But like I watched this live and I fucking don't know why. Like I don't know why I did.
You did that to yourself. Even
I didn't know. You're right. I did. I can't blame anyone but myself. And then when it started, it was just. So like it started with Sonic being in this Olympic Games. Like that was like the thing, right? Like that's just fucking how it started. And Sonic looks so goddamn creepy. Like he looks like a human being kind of, but with like a hedgehog face. And it's just fucking weird. Like why is he doing shot put? Why is Sonic Sonic's running track? That seems almost unfair. And then it's
Wait,
then it's
is this a real thing?
no, it's a real thing, dude. It's not a joke. Like I thought it was a joke at first. This is real.
Wait,
like-
what are you talking about right now?
It's on the screen. If
It's
you're
on the
watching
screen.
it.
Like
Yeah.
it's the Olympic game. Like so the Olympics, the Tokyo thing. Yeah, dude, it's fucking weird. Like
Oh, the Sonic and Mario Tokyo Olympics.
No,
no,
this is like the
no,
Olympic Games
no.
official.
This is like real people, like me and you, like on the
Oh.
track doing shit, and it's Sonic. It is a Sonic thing.
It's a mascot. It's like someone in a mascot
Yeah,
suit.
it's a dude in a Sonic suit.
It's so fucking weird. Anyway, so that's how it started. So I already knew I was in for some bullshit. Like
Wow, I didn't see this before.
Hey,
Yeah.
it's available June
You put
22nd.
dunk on him though.
You're talking about like getting games this year. Here you go.
it was fucking weird. So I love it though. I kind of love how fucking dumb like all of this was. So if we want to talk about like substantial things, because we're like running way long. I'm kind of
Yeah.
to wrap this up. But like Sonic Colors, yeah, Sonic Colors, cool, right? Like that's awesome. I was really looking forward to Sonic Mania 2. Didn't see shit. Didn't care beyond that. They did actually reveal a new Sonic thing at the very end. If you care about Sonic still, like they have a new. It's not
You're
adventure.
gonna have to stop it, Roddy.
No,
like-
dude, Sonic is
They're
not.
like, oh
good
wait,
now.
we got one more thing to show. I was like,
Yeah.
snap.
And it was like 15 seconds. We didn't even get a title. There was nothing. We don't know what the fuck it is. Although there is a significant leak if you really are curious about it.
Is it
Tell
the
me.
Sonic movie too?
No, it's like an
Oh.
actual game. It's a new
Oh,
Sonic
okay.
game.
It's not like a Sonic licensed movie game, is it?
No.
Okay.
No, it's a Sonic original. Take that, I guess, for what it is. It's just Sonic like running in a forest and like making a weird alien sign in the grass. That's all it is. That's all we got. So
Sonic Unleashed 2.
you know what? It's funny. So that's actually one rumor that like it's not Unleashed 2, but it's like using a mechanic or something from Unleashed apparently. I don't know which one.
Wasn't that just the werehog?
No. There was something else. Something like that. I don't know.
Run faster mode.
Run faster, yeah.
Yay.
So
Sonic
that
Boom.
that was really it. Like, I mean, you want to shout it out. It was ridiculous in some of the best ways. Like I said, Sonic Bling. If you're interested in Bling, they actually showed that on stream. Like 24 karat shadow or tails. Like, what the fuck?
You pass
Anyway.
that on right now.
Yeah,
I want it.
It's wild. So anyway,
Yeah. So those are the streams from this past week. Just a couple, like, two stories to knock out. Valve, is in talks of like putting out a Valve portable, some sort of
My Steam Switch.
Steam Switch type of thing.
I wonder if it's just as sturdy as their Valve, their own Valve controller.
I mean,
Because we all know how long that lasted.
They
they
still make those, don't they?
Nope.
Oh.
I think that only lasted like 6 months.
yeah. I mean, they've done things hardware wise that they have given up on. But so and like I read this headline and I was like, so if you're in the market for devices like this, there are like portable PCs that you can purchase now that can pretty much do this. But this will be something that will specifically be designed to run Steam. To run Steam games off of Linux, and if they can get the supply chain, as we said, these parts are scarce. If they could get the supply chain going, they could launch by the end of the year. So, what that means, who knows? What does that mean? That will they support this? Who knows? Like I said, their track record isn't best with this, but it is something sort of to bring up. And the second story is once again, we typically try not to talk about rumors, but this is something that has been like it's at this point like retailers are leaking stuff now.
it's inevitable. Yeah.
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 So the Pro Switch, Super Switch, what are the names of people saying?
I like the Switch Pro.
Switch Pro. No, I hate that that's like a tag that they do now. Everything the upgraded version is the Pro version.
Pro version. No.
Hey, do you remember the new 3DX XL?
Yeah, Nintendo.
They
said
added
that
the
was a-
word new.
Okay, that's not a good one either.
Exactly. So, would you rather have the word new stuck in front of it or Pro being
like- I
normal?
like
Use Super.
Super. I like Super
Like the
Switch.
Super Nintendo.
The Super
You know
Nintendo
what?
Switch.
That's fine.
But yeah, so it looks like there's gonna be an announcement, and it's being tipped that'll be June 3rd, which I guess at this point,
It's
if you're
about
watching,
going live.
Yeah, if you're listening to this, you'll know immediately if we were right or wrong.
yeah, so,
Right.
and this is why we don't like talk about
Exactly.
this. Yeah, so pre-orders could go live June 4th, but that's like if all of this is true. I just want to see the specs. Hopefully, it's a good price. I think
What's a good price for you?
a good
Yeah.
price for me for a Super Switch would be, I would want 400, but I'm not paying anything more. I'm not paying anything more than 450.
I
You're
want
right. It is
350.
400.
I think 400 to be fair,
Yeah.
but I would like 350.
I think it's 400. That's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'd love for it to be lower. Honestly, I'd love that.
I'd love
but
that.
I don't think it will be.
I was thinking of a price drop for the regular Switch to 200, and then the new Switch to be 300.
Which is
You-
something they've done in the past, so I can see that.
Because
you
they do
think
that to
they'd
the
still do the Switch.
yeah. I think they'll sell off whatever supply left they have.
That's what they did with the 3DS.
Kind of like what they did, with the 3DS and the 2DS.
Yeah. So, like we said, this may be something that may mean nothing tomorrow. So, yeah, that's the news for this week. Let us know if we missed anything. We'll continue the conversation on social media. Like I said, follow us. Should I play that on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram,
Everywhere.
YouTube, everywhere. But let's jump into the topic for the evening. We talk about indie games a lot on this show. Like, some may say too much, but I mean, at this,
What?
but listen, you people that only play your AAA games, you're the ones that are crying in the streets right now. You're the ones saying, oh, these games aren't coming out. You're either saying these games aren't coming out, you're saying that these games are too similar, that there's no innovation, or I don't know, you're saying it's too expensive. What else can we say? There's a lot of complaints about AAA games. That's well warranted. But it's that's all on you if you're not open enough to play indie games. Like that's at this point, that is a choice that you're making to not open up your horizons and play something different. So yeah, this week we're gonna talk about hidden gems of the just the indie game scene, and
Not necessarily, and I think we should clarify, not necessarily like what we think the best indie games of all time are, but what we think are indie games that should be talked about more or deserve a little bit more shine.
yeah. So I guess we can sort of start this off with what makes an indie game, because that's something that we had to like sort of talk amongst each other and sort of discuss like what is an indie game. So an indie game technically is a independent video game development team that's, for the most part, it's going to be either a couple of people or it's going to be a small development team. So it's not like Ubisoft or Rockstar who's going to have like hundreds of people working on a game.
Right.
But it's typically going to be like a couple of people working on a game. And the main caveat is that if it's published by a bigger publisher, that they have like no input. Like they're just publishing the game.
Right.
So, those two things are primarily what you look for if you're looking for quote unquote indie games. And like we've been saying for a while, like this is where you need to be right now. Like these if you're looking for creativity, if you're looking for something different, this is where you need to be.
Yep. Indie games have been our game of the year for the past few years. And my personal game of the year, they're almost always like my personal number one. A good example, if you're confused about the definition that Chris just gave, like a good example of this is Supergiant Games. They're an indie studio. Bastion was published by Warner Brothers, but the game was already made, so they only distributed it really. And then after that, Supergiant began self-publishing all their stuff. So not necessarily a studio. Some people might think like, oh, that's not indie because I know about it. But like, no, it really is. And it's like comprised of a studio of like 20 people, barely, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So like we said, we're gonna go through games that we feel don't get a lot of shine. So no Hades.
Even though
Rod,
go play Hades.
even though you should go play it.
Right
we're gonna talk about games that just you should check out that should be relatively cheap at this point, and it's just a good time. So, Elena, let's start off with you. What are your indie gems?
My indie gems are Manifold Garden, which is let's say like a 4D puzzle game, because it messes with space and time and colors as well. So it makes you really think. It's such a challenging puzzle game that no one solution is very like straightforward. You've really had to put some like thought into it, and and how they mess with space and your sense of direction, it makes it really challenging in a good way. I still haven't beaten it yet, but I have seen the ending, and it's pretty crazy to the point of a seizure warning with all the colors and flashing lights and stuff. And then my second game is The Last Campfire by Hello Games. You play as a camper who is on a journey to somewhere. I don't want to spoil the ending because it made me cry a lot, but you go through the world and you help other lost campers, or you don't have to. You can just walk past by them. And you have this guardian who you light up the campfire, and if you help enough people, they will also join you at the very end. And so you go through this world, and there's someone following you, but you don't know who it is because it has the outline of a camper, but you don't know who it is. And then you meet the big boss, and then it turns out to be somebody that you've been reading their journal entries all along, and then you talk with them, and then they join you to the end, which that might be a story spoiler, story spoiler, but I think the journey along will make you tear up, especially with some of the lost campers don't want to be saved. And you're like, but I'm on this journey, you need to come with me. And it makes it really sad.
Hmm.
And then I think, and it's on Android and console and PC for The Last Campfire. I think Manifold Garden is just on PC and console, but you
It's
can get
on. Hey,
Campfire
hey.
everywhere.
I was say don't disrespect Apple Arcade.
Arcade.
Yeah.
Look, I tried playing what was it? Fuck, what was the name? Let me look at it.
Wait for it.
Sayonara.
Sayonara.
Yep. I tried playing that on phone, and it's really hard to like get cut like sharp corners.
Yeah, I had to like finish that game on a controller because
Yep.
I played maybe like the first level or two like with a like touch, and it's trash. It's
Yep.
it's almost unplayable for the last half
That's
of the game.
why. But Last Campfire luckily does not have such tight controls because it's just mainly puzzles that you're doing. I love puzzle games, by the way. Like, puzzles are my thing. And then my last game is Gris, which it did get an award back in 2018 or 19 for games for impact or whatever, because you play as a young girl who just lost her mother, and you go through the 5 stages of grief, and then you are constantly battling your inner self of like constant doubt and stuff, and so you're fighting this entity that is essentially you, and then you overcome it. It's like your grief in a way. I don't know if that's ever been explained, because there is no one talks in that game. It's only music, and oh my god, it's so gorgeous.
It's
It looks like
it's
looks like an
music,
art game.
it's colors,
Yep.
it's music, it's colors, and it's visuals. Like it's all like told through the story is like kind of told to you implicitly through the environment, because you'll occasionally run across like large statues of like of the
mother.
actual subject, right? And it's kind of explaining the story in the background to you. So somewhat up to interpretation, but a lot of it is plainly laid out. It's quite a good game. I played it myself, and I echo pretty much everything Elena said up to this point. Like it's pretty cool.
And each color of the level represents what stage of grief you're on. So, like the first stage is just black and white, and then whenever you go to the next stage, you have red, which is anger.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go into the next stage, there's green, and then blue, yellow, and then I forget what the last color, unless that was it. But yeah, then it just unfolds into this beautiful colored world, and then you accept that your mother passed away, and then you can move on. I highly recommend that game. It's very short. Most of these games are pretty short, but except for Manifold Garden, that one's pretty long if you get stuck on puzzles. But you can finish Gris in a night. You can finish Last Campfire in like 2 days.
That's not a bad time commitment wise.
Yeah, Manifold Golden is just really, I think it's long just because of the complexity of the puzzles. If you get really stuck and you don't want to look up the answers.
Mm-hmm.
So those are my 3. I have plenty of others. Like I didn't mention Sayonara Wild Hearts because that will always be my top favorite. But I really do enjoy these 3 games.
Nice.
All right, nice.
Good choices.
Yep, good choices there.
All right, James, what you got?
Well, to go in a completely different direction, there is very little reconciliation or story or
Oh
anything
no.
going on, especially in this first game. Chris, if you're gonna put this one up, I want to give you a quick seizure warning. If you are like prone to flashing lights, there are a lot of them in this first one. This first game is taking you back to 2009, a little dollar gem I found on the Xbox Live Arcade called I Made a Game with Zombies in it.
Did a
So,
fifth grader make this game?
no, actually, one man goes by the name of James Silva. Shout out to the Jameses out there. Yes, sir. Um, so this is a top-down twin stick shooter, very simple, four-player co-op. But really the main appeal to me is the music, like you guys were saying about Greece, except this is just this guy singing a song about how he made a game with zombies in it. And as this happens, you are being attacked by said zombies. You pick up power-ups like shotguns, flamethrowers, machine guns, and all the other stuff, and you're just trying to survive to the end of the song. Very simple concept, only cost you $1. I think, well, the video I'm watching now is like 14 minutes long, so assuming you survive that long, really short game, but just a fun, random romp. Classic early Xbox Live Arcade goodness, like Summer of Arcade fun.
Love it.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just one of the things that I really love about indie games. You can take a very done to like death concept and just put a fun little twist on it, and now you got something that I remember forever, apparently. And sticking with that same theme, I really did enjoy that year, like 2009, 2010. That was like my eye-opening year for indie games. So I want to move on to my next game, which was Dishwasher: The Dead Samurai.
Wow, that is a blast from the past. My
Yeah,
God.
made by the
Yeah.
same guy, actually.
Wow. Okay.
Scott Studios, James Silva. This one is a side scroller beat 'em up in the style of games like Ninja Gaiden, Devil May Cry. If you guys know me, you know I love that style of game. But it also managed to throw in little bits of rhythm action, I guess like a Guitar Hero-esque game. So you can go into these as you make your way through these levels, chopping up um bodyguards and teleporting around the map. You can also just kind of break out into guitar solos in certain areas. And again, just more awesome music just to keep you moving, keeps you running through the levels, keeps you amped up. Just a fun like stress reliever. I love these kind of games. Me and my friends stayed up longer than I'd like to admit, like school nights or whatever, just making your way through trying to see what the rest of this game holds. You can play with like two cleavers, you pick up dual swords, of course the guitar I was mentioning before earlier. Just a fun, bloody, combat-filled good time. No deep story. If there is, I didn't read it. The story is told in like comic book panel style cutscenes, so you get like the yellow text box. But again, just something fun, something simple, but just one of the things I really enjoyed about indie games, because you wouldn't see this like getting AAA marketing or anything like that, but it doesn't need it.
All right.
You go in, you do some combos, you pick up some items, you get that endorphin rush, and you're good. Again, another short game, but one I definitely recommend you checking out. I don't know if you can still buy this one, to be honest with you. I don't know how that works with the Xbox Live Arcade anymore. Might be able to find it on your series or Xbox One. So
Yeah.
definitely give it a shot.
The sequel I think is more widely available. Dishwasher Vampire Smile.
Okay. See, there you go, Roddy. Roddy knows what's up.
I mean, I remember this game came out, and I it really associate the Dishwasher with like early Xbox Live Arcade. Like I'm pretty sure this is like the first thing I saw from them. And I was just amazed because the visual style of this game was unlike anything I had seen before. Like on a game of this scale, I was just like, it blew my mind. So it's cool that you brought this up.
Oh yeah, actually, the sequel is available on Steam.
Cool.
Looking at it right now, $10. And to round out that same era of just like, yes, indie games are dope. I went with one by Twisted Pixel. This one's called Comic Jumper. So Twisted Pixel for me was really known for games like the Maw, and Splosion Man, mainly Splosion Man, which was like a puzzle platformer. But this is a 2.5D, another beat 'em up side scroller. But I really enjoy the humor that this game injects into itself. Not always the topics, because let's be honest, it was a different time,
Mm,
and some of the jokes are kind of like, all right, guys, really
mm.
now. However, just like the physical humor that's in this game, the interaction between the what's his name, Captain Smiley and his little star he has on his chest, I forget his name now. Their dynamics a lot of fun. There's even like their arch nemesis. His name is just Brad, and when he shows up on screen, they're like this background music, like it's the Bradster. Like, oh yeah, cool Brad. just like ridiculous like Chad type stuff like that. It's just a fun time. Really simple game. But it doesn't take itself too seriously and it knows what it wants. It wants to be a comic book, it wants to be a comedy, and it hits both of those. So another one I would recommend people check out or watch a playthrough of, even get a better feel for the kind of game this was. But yeah, small projects, indie game stuff was what I was really into back then. Classic action, violence, that sort of stuff. I was a simple kid.
Nice. It's
Simple
wholesome.
kid.
Nice wholesome.
Nice and wholesome video gaming.
Play this on Saturday morning. I can see it.
Yeah, it's a Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go into my list here. Chris, don't get too mad at me. I'm gonna try to go through this kind of fast. I know you're on the boards right now, switching like a madman. All right, so the first thing on my list is Thumper, actually, which is a game I have brought up before, but it's a game I don't feel like I hear a lot of people actually talking about, which is strange because I think it's really, really awesome. This is also out on, I would say, damn near everything, PS4, Xbox One, Switch. It's on VR. I've played it on both VR and just regular console, and it's one of those rare experiences where like I actually really value both. I do like the VR experience specifically because of course it just envelops you in like this dark atmospheric, almost nightmarish like scenarios that it is thrusting you into literally. But also just playing it regularly allows me to kind of zone in just kind of deeper in a way that the VR experience, I'm just too busy being like enraptured in everything around me and maybe not like as precise with the gameplay. That might just be me, but I say all that to say that the atmosphere of Thumper is, I think, super unique and incredible for something that is basically just a rhythm action game that consists of like a few buttons and a couple other like directional mechanics. It's very striking in its imagery. Again, it's very like hellish nightmarescape sort of almost bug-like entities that are kind of floating through space. You're playing like a space beetle that's just riding this very long road through the cosmos, and it's excellent. Like, you know, I don't know if I imagine this game would be very interesting if I were to play it drunk. Not, you know, saying you should do that, but if, you know, you partake in the substances, it might not be so bad.
I was gonna say there's other substances I feel like playing this game would be a life-changing experience.
Perhaps,
Or
perhaps.
ending.
Or ending. right. Or ending. I have
right.
no actual
Dang,
experience.
you're right.
I know some people might be like, oh, sure. No, I really don't. So don't talk to me about that. I really don't know. So the other game that I thought was really cool here to bring up is Frozen Synapse. So Frozen Synapse is a game from like 2011, I think. And it was made by this studio called Mode 7 Games. Very small. I think it was made by just a few people here. And it's really cool because it is an asynchronous multiplayer game. So think of it like Rainbow Six, if Rainbow Six was like top down, and again asynchronous instead of like you're playing together. So the idea is that you have a squad and you have a certain number of moves that you can make like in the room, and you basically make all the moves you can, and like say I would, like if James and I were playing, like I would make a move, James would make a move. He would maybe send one of his soldiers to a corner, maybe I would send one of my soldiers to a corner, maybe James would then make one of his people fire in a particular direction, and maybe I take up the defensive position through cover. But the point is, like, I'm making my moves, and I can't quite see what he's doing yet. But then at the end of all the turns, it all plays out simultaneously. So you see all the moves that you make, and one fell swoop. They've all been made at that point. That was a concept that like broke my brain at the time that I came across it. I was like, I don't get how this is happening right now, but I love it. And it's like, it was super, super addicting. The music was really cool. A game will get me all the time if it has good music. This game could fucking suck, but it has a good soundtrack, and I might stick with it for like a few extra hours. And I remember that sticking out a bit, as well as the visual style. It was very basic, very simple, kind of Tron-esque in some ways, but that does not a derision of the game. Like it fits what you're going for. So there was single player modes. You could play it multiplayer with other people live. So you could be kind of you could make a turn like one day, come back tomorrow, and the person made their turn. It was like that kind of almost like when you play chess online. And that's essentially what this game felt like. Rainbow Six with chess. So a very cool experience that I don't hear much of. They did release a sequel for this, as well as a Vita game, actually. But I don't think that it was very well received, or it just didn't get a lot of attention. And I felt like Frozen Synapse got a little bit of buzz when it came out, but
I do remember this.
Yeah, but I never hear people like talk fondly about it now. Like 10 years later, like no one ever talks about it, and I still think about it like on occasion. And I've played it. I played a few matches like couple years ago, like on my Steam account, and I thought it was just as engrossing as ever. The third game is To the Moon.
Oh my goodness, I love that game.
To the Moon is phenomenal. This game really kind of changed the way that it sort of recontextualized what story or narrative meant to me in a video game, and like how powerful it is. There are certain stories that I've come across in my life in video games. Like I generally think that like just when we look at, Chris talked a lot about AAA stories or just AAA games in general, and how kind of homogenous they can be at times. And I tend to forget that like, oh yeah, stories in games can be like actually compelling sometimes. I think we're getting like better stories, or at least stories that are trying more, but it's very rare to me that like I get what I would consider to be like truly unique stories, or something that would be like prestige television or something like that. Like we're not getting The Wire like in a video game, or The Sopranos or something like that. And I'm not saying like To the Moon is on that level, but what I am saying is that like it was a game that made me think like video games can actually achieve like great emotional height in a story. So the idea behind this game is that the story follows a pair of scientists, or doctors, I should say, who offer to fulfill a dying man's last wish using artificial memories. Now that already sounds like fucked up, like in terms of like, oh man, I'm gonna cry at the end of this. like I'm not a crier, really. That's not me trying to be Mr. Tough Guy. That's just like I have a problem. But but this game though almost got Dusty in the room a couple times. Almost got Dusty here. Towards the end, it does some really cool things with playing with time, and I'm already a sucker for like time travel stories. And it's not necessarily time travel exactly here, but they do things that are akin to it. That relate back to this man and what his wish actually is, and how the doctors can go about fulfilling it. And I found it to be poignant. I found it to be meaningful and have significance beyond just like the time that I spent with it. It made me reflect on like kind of my own life in certain ways. And I think any piece of fiction that can do that is worth a shout out in this area. So yeah, great game, To the Moon.
It's
And its
available on the
pixel
Switch
art
right now.
is amazing.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. The sequel, yes, is on. Oh, there's To the Moon is on the Switch
Yep.
as of right now. And sequel is supposedly coming to Switch, like I think soon. I think. So that would be cool. It is available on Steam right now. So if you are interested in To the Moon, I highly, highly recommend checking it out. I wanted to throw in just a quick honorable mention. I talk about it all the time, so probably not appropriate for hidden gems, but I just feel like people don't talk about it enough, and I think that game is outer fucking wilds. Like,
Oh, yeah.
come on, man. Like, it. Like,
DLC is coming.
You know what? I think that's fair enough to that was fair enough to be on this list. That's a game that people should
well,
play.
fuck me then, man. Like, I honestly think that game it got a lot of critical praise, but you know, I just don't feel like it's not mainstream, and I think just by nature of the kind of game it is, I don't think it ever will be, and I'm okay with that. Like, it is such a spectacular fucking experience. Like, it is one of my favorite games of all time, bar none. Like, if I had a top 5, I think it's in there. I just have never played anything that just engrossed me so quickly from beginning to end. Like, there was never one moment where I was like frustrated or lost, or like, I mean, I was definitely lost, but like, you know, it was never, I was always intrigued. I've never, so I talked earlier about Famicom Detective Club and how, like, you know, I enjoy kind of following along with the mystery and being in the detective's shoes and like kind of feeling like I'm participating in that mystery. Outer Wilds literally does that. You are the protagonist. You are figuring things out in real time. The game doesn't really hold your hand and say, now this is when this happened. Like, it doesn't do that at all. Like, you are actually finding out a lot of this stuff and making connections. I'm not I don't watch a lot of Twitch streams, but I watched somebody, actually one of my friends, go through the back like couple hours of this game, and it was so amazing seeing that light bulb go off and watching him recognize like some of the revelations that occur here. It was just great, and then we had like an hour-long, 2-hour discussion after he finished it, and it was great. I love that game, and I think people should play it. That's it. Chris, what you got?
Yo, and I gotta say, all of y'all games have been like really solid. All great games, all games that you guys should definitely check out. Some of my games sort of like I feel like they sort of it's a mixture of what you guys have already said. But the first game that I want to talk about is a game that I've talked about before on the show, but like doesn't really get talked about too much because it's a weird game, if you want to call it a game. I'm talking about Kind Words, lo-fi chill beats to write to, which is essentially a pen pal, not even a pen pal simulator, but it's like if you ever wanted to like just do good deeds or say nice things or maybe give like words of encouragement, this is that type of game. It's essentially you as a character sitting in a room listening to lo-fi music, and while you're sitting there, you see like these paper airplanes like floating in the background, and when you click it, it's a message from a real person, and it's either a word of encouragement, it's either them saying something that they're going through, and you could like there's a lot that goes on, but like it's super simple, and it's exactly that. It's just you interacting with people. So like, let's say you put out a letter, like you had a rough day at work, and you just want to vent. You just want to be like, hey, yo, this person did this, that, and the third. Should I go to work tomorrow and like punch him in the face? Then you throw your letter out there. I guess like for me, it's always been something where I would throw a letter out and then come back like later, like either the next day or like a week or a month from then, and then just sort of seeing like the replies back that I would get from people. And it's I think I've sent out a letter talking about like how I have a habit of putting too much on my plate, and how at the same time I do all the stuff and I still don't feel good enough. And just hearing like the kind words that people are like, hey, like, don't overwork yourself, or you're doing more than most people do, so you're already a step ahead of the game. So it's along with the themes of mental health, this is a great game to sort of like it's not therapy, but it's therapeutic. You know, along with the aesthetic of just lo-fi music, which already in itself is relaxing and chill. So definitely a game. Like I said, if any of that sounds like remotely fun, check it out. It's relatively cheap. You can find it on Steam. I think it's just on Steam. But it's it's definitely a game that I find myself just coming back to every now and then.
It's very cool.
Yep. So that's that game. My next game is a game that sort of, you know, it's similar to Manifold Garden? It's similar to that, whereas it's a puzzle game. This next game is called Stanley Parable, which is it's like an interactive drama / walking simulator / puzzle game, where it's, you know, you as a character going through these environments while like sort of there's like a narrator just talking the whole time. So you're either listening to the narrator or just going off doing whatever you want to do, and like the things that you do affect the world somehow. It sort of changes the world. Your choices sort of affect your run through, and it's not really punished, because this is the type of game where like you'll do a run through like of you in his office, and then sort of like just it's also like a mind fuck sometimes, because it's some solutions to certain puzzles is like, oh wow, like it's either in my face or it's like, wow, that's like really intricate. So this is a game that it has its humor, it has its dry humor. If you like games where sort of similar to like Portal, or games that have like a reactive narrator like Bastion, this is that game. But once again, like I said, you sort of have to like that type of humor, or you like puzzle games. If any of that sounds great, this is the game for you. And apparently for the past couple of years, they've been working on it's not a sequel, but like a upgraded version of this game, where there's like more endings, there's more puzzles, and you know, this is a small team. I think it's like a single guy working on this, or two people working on this game. So they've said that this game will come out when it comes out. We're supposed to get it we're supposed to get it 2019, and it's 2021 at this point. So
it's done when it's done.
It's done when it's done. But this is a game that I had a great time, and it's funny. I think there's a Steam trophy where it's like come back in 7 years. So I think.
I thought it was 10 years.
Is it 10 years? Yeah, it's like 7 to 10 years. And I think it's been long enough for me to go back to this game. So I was trying to wait for this, upgraded version to come out. But, just me talking about this game again, like, I'm probably going to play this in the next couple of weeks. So Stanley Parable is definitely a game, worth checking out. And my last game is a game that, we've talked about. We haven't talked about this game specifically, but our game of the year. A couple years ago was Hotline Miami. Katana Zero.
Yeah.
And that game Katana Zero was a game that like I think that was like the indie game that like sort of got me to like sit down and be like, yo, like these indie, like I want games that like if it has like a story, like I want it to tell me the story. I don't want it to like feel like it has to like hold back. Just give me the story and like find a clever way to like mesh that with gameplay. So this next game my last game is called Arcane, which is a top-down arcade hack and slash game where it's like an arena arcade slasher where you have pretty much enemies that either that die in one hit or they can kill you in one hit. So it's that type of thing where it's pretty fast paced, but it's fun at the same time, and it's giving you a story while you're doing all of that. I feel like this game, I've always seen it for like dirt cheap.
Yeah.
On Switch, on PC. Mm-hmm. And it's something that like the amount of fun that you could have with this game, like I always feel bad, like, yo, like I bought this game for like 97 cents. like I would have been okay paying like, you know, $10-$20 for this because of just like how simple it is, but then at the same time, like it's fun. Like the whole mechanic of like killing things in one hit gives you that power, but then at the same time, you being able to die in one hit is, you know, also like that, you know, you're on your toes the whole time.
That Hotline Miami
Mm-hmm.
balance. That's cool.
Yeah, so this game has like, you know, it has like a cyberpunk art style. So, you know, think sort of like, you know, Blade Runner or Akira. I think like there's like a Ghost in the Shell reference or like there's an influence in this
Okay.
type of in this game. So, and it to me it really reminded me of Hotline Miami. So it's fast paced, it's repetitive, but at the same time, like it's, you know, you die and then you sort of just you could jump back into the game and like, all right, maybe I shouldn't let these enemies like completely surround me or whatever. So you know, you're it's arena based, so like you're pretty much in the set in the same area, but like after you get to a certain point, like you'll come across like I think there's like a tank enemy that it takes like 2 hits to kill him, and then you have like a boss enemy. So it's like it's a game like like I said, it's cheap, so it's pretty much giving you everything at like at a fast pace. But yeah, Arcane is something that like I've had on PC. I've bought on Switch because it was like super cheap, and you know, it's something that like it's just pick it up, try it out, and you like it's so cheap. Like it's almost like the whole Game Pass thing, where it's like it's not even like, you know, it's
Like, why wouldn't you?
yeah, why wouldn't you
Right.
at that point? Yeah, but yeah, that's, you know, those are my 3 games. I feel like all of the games that we've listed, like these are all solid games.
Absolutely.
Dang, I just realized that I was talking about the game and didn't have it on the screen the whole time.
Oh no.
Womp womp. Oh man.
Well,
It's okay. It's late.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's go ahead and wrap up the show. Roll the red carpet out. Elena, thank you so much for being on the show this week.
Yeah. Thanks for sticking
no
with us.
problem.
And Rod and James, what you got for the people this week?
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Roddy will be filling you in on where you can find more of this amazing Should I Play That goodness. Isn't that right, Roddy?
That is correct. So, if you've liked what you've heard, go ahead and check us out on all of our streaming platforms. We are pretty much wherever you can get a podcast. We especially like Apple Podcasts. It helps with our visibility. If you go ahead and give us a like, a rating, comment, leave us that feedback, it really helps with our visibility, and we appreciate that. And we appreciate you.
Yeah, and this is a long episode, so shout out to the people that made it all the way through. Shout out to our Twitch viewers sticking it out with us, watching it live. And like I said, like, you know, this is just the beginning. I am working on stuff, and you know, catch these live shows. Please follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook. We'll be giving some stuff out. Who knows what? Who knows, you know, when? But you gotta be following. You gotta be in it to win it. So. Please check that stuff out, and we will catch you guys next time. Stay beastly, drink your water, and if you're vaccinated, go ahead and go ahead. You can start hugging people now, because I felt when you said that, I felt that because I hung out with my sister this last week, and we're finally able to give each other a hug.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice, man.
There we
Good
go.
stuff. So, catch you guys next week. Catch you guys on, you know, our social media. Let's talk about video games, and let's just have some fun. So with that, we're out for another week. Peace.
Peace.
Bye.